Hello everyone, Xeno What If here. Here to bring in the second movie of What If Lupin was the older brother of Monkey D. Luffy Tiberian son arc. Link down description of the fanfiction of this What If. Listen here YouTube. I do not own anything and this is not a scam. Scenario 1. Reinforce Phoenix Base. GDI Space Station Philadelphia. Doubt transmission cutting out. This is Base Commander Dow reporting. Number of enemy ground are hitting us all over the place. They caught you by surprise. We're severely outnumbered. All GDI forces have been destroyed. Repeat, send reinforcements right away. Solomon, goddammit, makes no sense, hotspots everywhere. Why Southwest Sector 9? Personnel, someone's jamming the secure channel sir. Kane interfering. You'll come for the sunshine, but you'll stay for the people. Solomon, what the hell is this? It's not possible. Punch up the main screen. Kane reveals himself to Solomon. Kane, if I'm cut, do I not bleed? Note 1, it would be a sad error in judgment, General Solomon, to mistake me for a corpse. Solomon, my judgment is sound, Kane. And I'm not afraid of ghosts nor you. Kane, perhaps you should be. I've seen the future, our Tiberium future, and as you watch this battle just beginning to unfold, I've already seen the final act. It is my destiny to lead the way for all mankind. Solomon, mankind has forgotten you Kane. Kane laughs manically before his feet is cut out. Personnel, new signal sir, he's in the southwest. Solomon, get me McNeil, and Crossbone pirates. Meanwhile somewhere, in a private island located in the New World, having somewhat high-tech turrets and automatic defense systems for intruders. This private island was actually one of the HQs for the Crossbone pirates. Monkey D. Lupin, the oldest brother of Monkey D. Luffy, was actually in his private quarters taking a nap. Servbot number 37, Captain Lupin. Captain Lupin, we have a priority Alpha 1 transmission from General Solomon. It's super urgent. Lupin stirs. His body, even in sleep, has a faint, metallic shimmer, the passive state of his nano-robotic fruit. He opens his eyes, which gleam with the calm confidence of a man with a 12 billion bounty. Asterisk. Lupin, Alpha 1, that's GDI distress. He swings his legs out of bed, grabbing his signature coat. As his feet hit the floor, nanites ripple across his skin, instantly forming his standard combat gear over his casual clothes. Scene. Crossbone Pirates, Hangar Bay. The hangar is a cathedral of war and ingenuity. Several of the named pilots are scrambling. Marika Kato is already running pre-flight checks on a sleek pirate ship, while the TF-2 engineer, Defender, is welding a last-minute modification onto the XM-X1 Crossbone Gundam X1 full cloth. Asterisk. Lupin walks in, and the chaos settles into focused attention. Lelouch v Britannia, standing near a holographic tactical map, gives Lupin a nod. Lelouch, brother, Kane has resurfaced. He's not just attacking GDI, he's taunting them. He's after something in Southwest Sector 9. Lupin, he always is. What's the tactical assessment, Kuzan? Kuzan, the former admiral, leans against a crate, casually blowing ice crystals from his finger. Kuzan, brr, nods, throwing everything at the Philadelphia. They're jamming all secure channels. It's a full-scale invasion. The world government won't lift a finger, and Britannia is probably cheering from the sidelines. Lupin, figures. Tyrants stick together. He walks towards his Gundam, his expression hardening. GD's the only thing keeping the Tiberium from turning this shattered world into a green rock. We're not letting Kane rewrite history. Butcher, Billy Butcher, so we're just gonna waltz in. Right into the lion's den. I like it. Been wanting to smash some of Kane's cultist cunts for a while. Lupin, we're not waltzing. We're dropping in hot. All hands, battle stations. We're going to remind Nod why the Crossbone Pirates don't answer to anyone. Scene. Southwest Sector 9 GDI Phoenix Base. The base is a burning ruin. GDI Titan walkers lay scattered like broken toys, their metal frames half consumed by glowing green Tiberium crystals. Nod's Scorpion tanks and Raider buggies swarm through the smoke, their black and red banners fluttering mockingly. A lone GDI commander, McNeil, is pinned down in a fortified bunker, his mammoth tank a flaming wreck behind him. McNeil, over radio, static heavy, Solomon, they've got us zeroed. Artillery strikes every 30 seconds. Where are those reinforcements? Solomon, over radio, hold the line, Commander. They're coming in, on an unconventional vector. Suddenly, the Nod forces pause. A shadow falls over the battlefield. High above, a modified pirate vessel decloaks, its hull shimmering with optical camouflage. Hatches blow open, and a wave of chaos descends. The heavy hitters drop first. A colossal form Bartholomew Kuma slams into the ground, creating a shockwave that sends a column of Nod buggies flying. He stands impassively, his paws glowing with the power to repel anything. The mecha army follows. A platoon of TF2GRY mecha mercenaries drops in formation, led by intelligent Heavy and Pyrogan, who unleashes a torrent of flame and sentry bullets into a group of Nod fanatics. As the chaos erupts, a single, iconic silhouette tears through the smoke, the XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X1 full cloth, its skull emblem gleaming. It's not just flying, it's dancing. Asterisk. Nod Commander, what is that? Identify it. Nod Soldier. It's a mobile suit, sir. But it's moving like a. The Crossbone Gundam doesn't fire. Lupin deploys the scissor anchor, which pierces through the cockpit of a Scorpion tank. With a flick of the controls, he swings the tank into a group of infantry. Lupin, over external speakers, voice calm but carrying immense pressure, attention, Nod forces. You are trespassing on GDI's sovereign territory and disrupting a nap I was quite enjoying. You have 10 seconds to power down your weapons and surrender. The Nod forces hesitate. Then, a fanatical voice cuts through. Nod fanatic, peace through power. Kane lives in death. They open fire. Lupin, wrong answer. Nanites pour from the Gundam's frame, forming a shimmering energy barrier that absorbs the incoming fire. Lupin's eyes glow, a deep gold observation hockey active. He moves. The full cloth becomes a blur. He activates the Muramasa blaster, a beam of compressed energy that slices through 3 Nod artillery pieces in a single sweep. He follows up with the Peacock Smasher, its spread shot destroying the swarm of attack bikes. As he fights, his internal nanites are synchronizing with the Gundam's systems, optimizing performance in real time. It's not just a pilot in a machine, it's a symbiosis. Cutscene. In the cockpit. Lupin's face is a mask of focus. He's not just fighting, he's analyzing. A small hologram of his AI, a feminine voice with a slightly robotic tone, appears. AI, Navi, Captain, I'm detecting a massive Tiberium-based energy signature below the base. That's what Kane is after. It's a prototype engine. A hybrid of GDI and Nod tech. Lupin, of course it is. Kane wants to start his Tiberium future early. He switches to a fleet-wide channel. Lelouch, I need you. Kane's real prize is under the base. I'm going to draw out their commander. You find a way to secure that engine. And Kuma. Kuma, what do you require? Lupin, if anyone tries to escape with that engine, send them on a 3-day trip to the bottom of the ocean. Boss battle, Nod Avatar Warmech. As Lupin predicted, the ruse works. The ground cracks open, and a colossal Nod Avatar Warmech rises from the base's core, its Tiberium core glowing with malevolent green light. It's piloted by a maniacal Nod commander. Nod commander, over speaker, Kane saw you coming, pirate. You cannot stop the future. Technology of peace will be forged into weapons of. Lupin, yeah, peace through power. I've heard the brochure. Lupin disengages the full cloth armor. The bulky external armor falls away, revealing the sleek, high-mobility XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X1 Kai. He readies the brand marker, a beam saber shaped like a cutlass. Asterisk. The battle is intense. The Avatar is powerful, its lasers carving trenches into the earth. But Lupin is faster, using his observation hockey to predict its attacks. He weaves between its particle beams, using the Zanbuster, a combination of his 2 beam Zambasters, to sever its weapons one by one. At the climax, the Avatar overclocks its Tiberium core, lunging for a final, devastating blow. Nod commander, die. Lupin doesn't dodge. He raises the Gundam's hand. Lupin, nanite negation. Quote. A wave of silver light pulses from the Gundam's palm. As it washes over the Avatar, the Tiberium core destabilizes. The advanced technology begins to break down, its systems failing as the nanites negate the complex machinery, reducing it to inert scrap. The Avatar stumbles and crashes, its core flickering out. Lupin lands the Gundam atop the fallen Warmech, the crossbone Jolly Roger fluttering in the wind as the GDI reinforcements finally arriving secure the area. Scene: Phoenix Base, Aftermath. Lupin stands with General Solomon and Commander McNeil in the wreckage of the base. Lelouch is nearby, having secured the prototype engine. Solomon: "You have my thanks, Captain. Your timing, as always, is dramatic." Lupin: "It's a gift." What was Kane after? Lelouch: "A Tiberium fusion reactor. If Nod had weaponized this, they could have turned every major city on the planet into a blast crater. Or worse." McNeil: "We were sitting on a bomb and didn't even know it." Solomon: "How did Nod find out about this?" Before Solomon can answer, a holographic screen flickers to life. It's Kane, standing in front of a massive Tiberium crystal, a faint smile on his scarred face. Kane: "Find out. Commander, I designed it. A little gift, left behind for the GDI to find. You see, it was never about this base. It was about watching how you would respond. And you, Monkey D. Lupin, you are a variable I am most interested in." Lupin: "Kane, you want a future for mankind. I've seen the future you're selling. It's a green rock full of slaves and zealots. Not interested." Kane: "Oh, but you will be. The Void Century, the Tiberium, the Devil Fruits, it's all connected, Captain. A tapestry of power that I intend to weave into a new order. Your technology, your fruit, is a part of that tapestry. The Brotherhood welcomes you, but I suspect you'll choose to stand in my way. I am counting on it." The transmission ends. Lupin clenches his fist, the nanites in his blood reacting to his anger with a faint, silver glow. He looks out at the burning base, then up at the stars, where he knows more battles are waiting. Lupin: "So he wants to play games. Fine, we'll play. But I'm not a piece on his board. I'm the goddamn hurricane that scatters it." Scenario 2, Island of Secrets. On board the bridge of the Mother Vanguard, the Crossbone pirate fleet cut through the waves of the New World. 3 Zamouth Jiri-class and 3 Zamouth Jeth-class ships flying and hovering across the ocean waters, their Jolly Rogers snapping in the salt wind. At the main control center on the bridge, Monkey D. Lupin stood before the holographic table, his silver eyes fixed on the data streaming across its surface. The Brotherhood of Nod had finally made their first move. An island. Small on the map, insignificant to most navigation charts. But the intelligence was clear, a fully operational Nod base, hidden beneath a canopy of ancient jungle. And scattered around its shores, the wreckages of pirate ships. Heart pirates, kid pirates, even remnants of the old Whitebeard fleet. All destroyed, all silenced. Monkey D. Lupin: "Sails. Set a course for the island. Immediately." Sails tails Fox Mink: "Captain, I've plotted the fastest route. At full speed, we'll reach the island in approximately 4 hours. But," his fox ears twitched nervously. "The sensor readings are strange. There's some kind of interference. Like something is actively jamming long-range scans." Lelouch: "Nod's doing." He stepped closer to the holographic display, his Gios eye hidden behind dark hair, but his strategic mind already dissecting the data. They don't want anyone getting a clear picture of what they're hiding. The wreckage pattern is deliberate. Those ships weren't just destroyed, they were lured there. Defender: "That ain't all, boss." The engineer tapped several keys on a portable terminal, and the holographic display zoomed in on a section of the island. "See these energy readings? That's Tiberium. Lots of it, but it ain't natural growth. Someone's cultivating it. And this." He highlighted a massive underground structure. "This is a Nod temple. Fully operational." Lupin's jaw tightened. The Brotherhood of Nod had been a thorn in GDI's side for years, but their presence in the New World was new. And deeply troubling. "Kuzan. The wrecked ships. I recognize some of those flags." The former admiral's voice was calm, but an edge crept beneath it. "Heart pirates. Kid pirates. Even a few ships from the old Whitebeard fleet. Nod's been busy." Marika Kato: "Captain, if Nod has been using this island as a trap for pirates, they've had time to fortify. We should approach with caution. Maybe send a scout team ahead." Lupin: "No." The word cut through the bridge like a blade. Every head turned. Lupin: "Nod already knows we're coming. Kane wanted us to find this island. That transmission at Phoenix Base was an invitation." He looked around at his crew, his expression unreadable. If we send scouts, they'll be picked off. If we hesitate, they'll have time to move whatever they're hiding. We go in fast. We go in hard. And we don't give them time to think. Lelouch, a small smile crossed his face. A direct assault. How very pirate of you. Lupin, sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. He turned back to the holographic display. But simple doesn't mean stupid. Defender, what's the tactical layout? Defender pulled up a detailed map of the island. Nod structures dotted the landscape, bunkers, turrets, Tiberium refineries, and at the center, the massive temple. Defender, they've got surface-to-air missiles scattered along the perimeter. Enough to shred anything that flies too close. Ground approach is possible, but they've mined the beaches and set up kill zones in the jungle. Whoever built this place knew what they were doing. Lupin, what about the water approach? Defender, submarines could get close, but, hold on. He squinted at his readings. There's something under the island. A cavern system, big enough for ships to enter through an underwater cave. Kuzan, if I freeze the entrance, we could hold it open long enough for an assault team to get through. Lupin, that's the plan. But we're not just hitting them from one direction. He began moving pieces on the holographic display, his fingers tracing attack vectors. Kuzan, you'll take the sea route with a strike team. Lelouch, you'll lead a second team through the jungle. Draw their attention, make them think that's the main assault. Lelouch, and you. Lupin's hand moved to the center of the map, the temple. Lupin, I'm going through the front door. Marika, Captain, that's suicide. They'll have everything aimed at. Lupin, exactly. He turned to face her, and for a moment, something ancient and terrible flickered in his silver eyes. The weight of his 12 billion bounty suddenly felt very real. They'll be so focused on me that they won't see the real threats coming. Lelouch, Kuzan, you find out what Kane is hiding on that island. And when you find it. Kuzan, we take it or destroy it. Lupin, you bring it back to me. I want to see what's so important that Kane would bait an entire pirate graveyard to protect it. The bridge fell silent. Then a gruff voice crackled through the comm system. Billy Butcher, finally. Some proper violence. I was getting bored of all this sailing. Lupin allowed himself a rare smile. Lupin, everyone to your stations. We hit the island at dawn. The first light of dawn painted the sky in shades of orange and red as the crossbone fleet approached the island. Nod forces were ready, searchlights swept the waters, missile batteries tracked the incoming ships, troops manned the defensive walls. On the bridge of the Mother Vanguard, Lupin watched the island grow closer. His hands rested on the railing, and faint silver light pulsed beneath his skin. The nanites in his blood responded to his rising battle spirit. Nod Commander, loudspeaker, unidentified vessels, you are entering restricted territory. Turn back now or be destroyed. Lupin didn't respond. He simply watched. Nod Commander, final warning. Turn back or. Lupin, fire. The crossbone fleet erupted. Cannons blazed. Missiles streaked through the air. Beam weapons from the Gundam units slashed across the water. The first wave of Nod defenses was obliterated in a storm of fire and metal. But Nod was ready. Surface-to-air missiles launched from hidden silos, homing in on the fleet. Anti-ship batteries opened fire, their Tiberium-enhanced shells tearing through the water. Lupin activated his communicator. Lupin, Kuzan, now. Beneath the waves, Kuzan moved. His hands touched the water, and ice spread outward at impossible speed. The underwater cave entrance froze solid, then shattered open, creating a path for the strike team. Kuzan, path is open. Moving in. On the island's eastern beach, Lelouch's team made landfall. Nod defenders were ready, but they hadn't prepared for what came with them. Lord de Groot, TF2 Red Demoman, alright, you Nod bastards. Let's see how y'all like a taste o' our own medicine. Explosions rocked the beach as grenades tore through Nod bunkers. Epic Scout zipped between cover, his speed making him nearly impossible to hit. Sea Spy decloaked behind a Nod officer, his knife finding its mark. But the main assault came from the front. The Mother Vanguard charged straight toward the island's main docking bay. Nod guns tracked it, fired, the ship took hits, but it did not stop. The bay doors of the Mother Vanguard slammed open, and the Crossbone mobile suits launched into the fray. XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X-1 piloted by Monkey D. Lupin himself, its beam rifle cutting down Nod anti-air emplacements in precise, economical shots. XMX-2 Crossbone Gundam X-2 piloted by Marika Kato, the second in command, its shot lance punching through reinforced bunker walls. XMX-3 Crossbone Gundam X-3 piloted by Kincaid Now, its massive scissor anchor tearing Nod mechs apart like paper. Behind them came the support units, the nightmare frames of Lelouch's squad, the modified mechs of the TF2 crew, the bizarre hybrid machines that only the Crossbone pirates would dare to field. The Nod base burned. Lupin's Crossbone X-1 moved with lethal efficiency. Beam fire lanced out, destroying command centers. Missiles tracked and obliterated communications towers. Nod soldiers scattered as their defenses crumbled around them. But Lupin was careful, precise. He targeted infrastructure, not personnel where he could avoid it. Nod's operators, soldiers, and scientists, they would be taken as prisoners. War criminals, yes. But alive. Alive meant answers. Within minutes, the Nod base was crippled. Not destroyed entirely, Lupin had ordered his forces to preserve the structures. The technology within was too valuable to burn. The Crossbone X-1's feet touched down on the island soil. Steam hissed from its joints as Lupin powered down the main systems, popping the cockpit hatch and dropping to the ground. He looked around, and stopped breathing. The island's technology was wrong. Not wrong in the sense of malfunctioning. Wrong in the sense of impossible. The architecture, the circuitry, the very materials, they didn't match anything in GDI's databases. Didn't match anything in Nod's known capabilities. Didn't match anything from any civilization Lupin had ever studied. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, I can't believe it. Everything, this island. He turned in a slow circle, taking in the structures half buried by centuries of jungle growth. The designs were elegant, ancient, familiar in a way that made his skin crawl. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, could this be remnants of the void century? He began walking. The nanites in his blood pulsed faster, as if recognizing something his conscious mind could not yet grasp. The jungle gave way to a clearing. And in that clearing, statues. 6 pedestals arranged in a circle. 3 statues stood intact, their stone surfaces defying the ravages of time. 2 were shattered beyond recognition, nothing but rubble and dust. 1 pedestal stood empty, scorch marks radiating outward from where something had been violently removed. Lupin approached the first intact statue. It was breathtaking, a figure of impossible beauty, androgynous, with features that seemed to shift between sorrow and serenity depending on the angle. Wings spread behind it, not feathered but crystalline, each feather a prism that caught the ambient light and scattered it into rainbows. In its hands, it cradled a sphere that pulsed with a soft, steady glow. Below the statue, carved into the pedestal in ancient script. Astro. The Stardust God. He who scattered the seeds of light. From her blood came the fruits of power. In her image, the stars were named. Lupin's breath caught. Beside the inscription was a carving. A detailed relief showing a figure reaching toward a massive, twisting tree with fruits that glittered like jewels. And in the figure's hand, one fruit was clearly depicted. A silver fruit. Swirling patterns like circuits, like stars, like the very flow of data made manifest. The techno fruit. His fruit. Monkey D. Lupin, whispering, could this be fate? He stumbled back, his mind reeling. The fruit he had eaten at the age of 6, the fruit that had saved his life and cursed it in equal measure, it was here. Carved into the pedestal of a god he had never heard of. He forced himself to move. To look at the other statues. The second intact statue was different. Caught in motion, one arm raised, mouth open in what might have been a laugh or a battle cry, flames swirling around its body. The carving was crude compared to the first, almost primitive, but it radiated raw power. Sol Nika, the sun god, he who brings the dawn. Liberator of chains, dancer of liberation. His laughter shall echo through eternity. Lupin's hand clenched. Luffy's fruit. The Gomu Gomu no Mi, no, the Hito Hito no Mi, model, Nika. His little brother carried a god's power and didn't even know it. The third intact statue showed wings of flame spreading from its back, its face partially obscured by a hood of molten stone. But the eyes burned with a warmth Lupin recognized immediately. Inforno Phoenix. The fire god, he who burns eternal. Death is not an ending, but a transformation. From ash, life springs anew. Ace. The Mara Mara no Mi. Another brother, another god. Lupin turned to the destroyed statues. The pedestals were cracked, the figures reduced to rubble. But the inscriptions were still legible, partially. Yggdrasil. The forest god. Life from plants. The blooms of trees. Aquila. The rain god. Waters rose. Continent sank. The rain god's pedestal showed a carving of a great flood. Of continents breaking apart. Of the world drowning. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself the deep down. The rising seas. This is the cause. He stood in the center of the 6 pedestals, the weight of 1,000 years pressing down on his shoulders. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, we really have stumbled upon something bigger. He almost missed it. Behind the statues, half hidden by overgrown vines, was a control panel. Unlike the ancient stone around it, the panel gleamed with an otherworldly sheen, technology that had somehow survived centuries of neglect. Lupin approached cautiously. His nanites hummed in recognition. He touched the panel. Light erupted from its surface. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing data streams in a language Lupin had never seen, but his nanites translated instantly. And then, a voice. Automated voice, ancient, feminine, echoing, "Welcome back, Astro." The Stardust God. Lupin froze. Monkey D. Lupin. What? The panel pulsed with light. A section of the wall beside it slid open with a hiss of hydraulics that should have failed centuries ago. Inside the hidden compartment, resting on a pedestal of pure crystal. A book. Not a digital archive. Not a data slate. An actual book, bound in materials Lupin couldn't identify, its pages glowing faintly with the same silver light as his nanites. He reached inside and took it. The moment his fingers touched the cover, information flooded through his nanites, not painful, but overwhelming. Histories. Names. Dates. A civilization that had existed before the world government. Before the void century. Before the seas rose and the continents shattered. He opened the book. The pages were not paper. They were thin wafers of crystal, each one holding more data than a modern supercomputer. But they displayed text in a language his nanites translated in real time, and as Lupin read, the world around him seemed to fade away. In the time before the Void Century, there existed a civilization unlike any other. A single country, advanced beyond imagination, where the 6 gods walked among mortals. The Stardust God, the Sun God, the Fire God, the Forest God, the Rain God, the Storm God. They were not worshipped as deities in the modern sense. They were guardians, teachers, the source of all devil fruit powers that would later scatter across the world. But the 20 kingdoms grew jealous. They feared the power of the gods. They feared the unity of the ancient country. And so they formed an alliance, the largest military coalition the world had ever seen. The war lasted 100 years. The gods fought back. They were powerful beyond measure. But the 20 kingdoms had something the gods did not: infinite armies, infinite resources, and a willingness to sacrifice anything for victory. They developed weapons specifically designed to kill gods. Weapons that targeted the very essence of devil fruit powers. Weapons that could extract, contain, and corrupt divine energy. One by one, the gods fell. The forest god was captured first. His power was extracted, corrupted, transformed into the green crystal that would later be named Tiberian. His vessel, a man named Cain, was twisted into something no longer fully human. A servant, a slave, the first of Nod's prophets. The rain god chose destruction over capture. When the 20 kingdoms came for her, she ignited her own power. The resulting cataclysm sank the continent. The seas rose. The world broke. Her fragments scattered across the ocean floor, waiting for someone to gather them again. The storm god refused to be bound. He scattered his power into the bloodlines of a chosen people, the Lunarians, so that his legacy would survive even if his physical form did not. The fire god, the sun god, and the stardust god chose a different path. They transformed their essences into fruits. Simple fruits that would be eaten by mortals, passing their powers to new vessels. They believed that one day, when the world was ready, those vessels would rise up and finish what the gods had started. The 20 kingdoms became the world government. They erased the void century from history. They hunted the Lunarians to near extinction. They spread the lie that devil fruits were curses, not gifts. But the truth cannot be destroyed. only hidden. And now, reader, you hold the truth in your hands. Lupin closed the book. His hands were shaking. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, the gods were killed. The 20 kingdoms, they created advanced weapons. Weapons designed to kill gods. To extract their powers. He looked at the statues. At Asteria. At Nika. At Phoenix. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, how do you kill a god? What kind of weapons could possibly? He stopped. The book had mentioned something. Weapons that targeted the essence of devil fruit powers. Weapons that could extract, contain, and corrupt divine energy. Nod had that technology now. The extraction rigs in the lab. The canisters. The project. Genesis container. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, Nod didn't invent that technology. They found it. From the Void Century. From the weapons that killed the gods. He looked at the shattered statues of Yggdrasil and Aquila. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, the forest god's power became Tiberian. The rain god's power sank the continents. And the 20 kingdoms became the world government. He had more questions than answers. How had the 20 kingdoms created weapons capable of killing gods? What had happened to the storm god's bloodline, the Lunarians? Why had the world government allowed devil fruits to continue existing if they were remnants of the gods they had destroyed? And where was the sixth god? The empty pedestal, who had stood there? But one question burned brighter than all the others. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, Cain. He was the vessel for the forest god. He's been alive for 800 years. He's been spreading Tiberium, building Nod, manipulating history, all while pretending to be a revolutionary. He tucked the book into his coat. The crystal pages pressed against his chest, warm with ancient light. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, Cain wanted me to find this. He wanted me to know the truth. But why? Lupin pulled out his transponder snail. The device was modified, GDI encryption, multiple redundancies, designed to resist even Nod's cyberwarfare capabilities. He activated it. The snail's eyes glowed. A secure connection established. General Solomon, GDI, Captain Lupin. Report. Lupin. Solomon, I need GDI forces at my coordinates immediately. Full security detail. Trusted personnel only. No world government oversight. No Britannian observers. This is Crossbone Pirates and GDI only. Solomon's image flickered. His expression shifted from professional to alarmed. Solomon, what have you found? Lupin looked at the statues. At the ancient technology. At the book in his coat. Lupin, the truth about the Void Century. And the origin of devil fruits. He paused. Also, Cain's original identity. He's not a revolutionary, Solomon. He's a god's vessel. And he's been playing this game for 800 years. Silence. Solomon, I'm mobilizing a task force. Secure the island. Don't let anyone in or out. Lupin, already on it. But Solomon, yes. Lupin, the world government can't know about this. Not yet. If they find out we have evidence about the Void Century, they'll come for us. And if they come for us. Solomon, I understand. Black Dawn classification. It'll be our secret. The transmission ended. Lupin looked at the statues one more time. At Asteria, the Stardust God. At Nika, the Sun God. At Phoenix, the Fire God. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, my brothers and I, we're not just pirates. We're vessels, carrying the wills of gods who died 800 years ago. He touched the book in his coat. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, and Cain wanted us to know. Lupin made a decision. The book would not go to GDI. Not yet. The information was too sensitive, too dangerous. If it fell into the wrong hands, if the world government learned what he had found, they would destroy the Crossbone Pirates and everyone associated with them. He would keep the book himself. Study it, learn its secrets, and when the time was right, when he had gathered enough allies and enough power, he would use its knowledge to change the world. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, final, the Void Century wasn't erased because the world government wanted to hide their crimes. It was erased because they wanted to hide their fear. They killed gods. And they've spent 800 years terrified that those gods might return. He smiled. It was not a kind smile. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, final, they should be terrified. Because we're already here. Scenario 3, New Recruits. GDI Maximum Training Facility Zeta, New World, Docking Yard. The mother vanguard descended through the clouds like a steel leviathan returning to harbor. Its hull was scarred, not from neglect, but from battle. Laser burns marked its armor plating. Fresh weld lines traced across its bow where a near miss from a world government cruiser had torn through the outer layer. The crossbone pirate's Jolly Roger, a grinning skull with crossed beam sabers, was painted proudly on its main fin, flapping in the wind as the massive ship approached the docking yard. Behind it, the rest of the fleet followed. The Starcatcher, Captain Marika Kato's sleek privateer vessel, its solar sails folded for docking. The Crimson Fang, Tron Bond's modified airship, its servbot crew scrambling across the deck like mechanical ants. The Iron Maiden, a captured world government battleship repurposed for the Crossbone fleet, its original insignia scraped off and replaced with the GDI Eagle. And a dozen smaller ships, captured vessels, salvaged wrecks, and custom-built gunships, each one crewed by pirates who had sworn loyalty not to a king or a government but to Monkey D. Lupin. Docking Master. Over the comms, his voice echoing across the bay. Mother Vanguard, you are clear for docking Bay 7. Welcome home, Captain. Monkey D. Lupin. Standing at the bow, his coat billowing in the wind, his steel-gray eyes scanning the facility. Home. He almost smiled. Doesn't feel like home. Kincaid now, appearing beside him, his arms crossed. That's because you've never had one, Captain. Lupin glanced at his first mate, a veteran pilot with silver streaks in his hair and a cybernetic eye that gleamed in the sunlight. Monkey D. Lupin. Quietly, maybe. The Mother Vanguard glided into the docking bay, its thrusters kicking up dust and seawater as it settled onto the reinforced platform. The docking clamps engaged with a thud that echoed across the facility. Monkey D. Lupin. Turning to face his crew. Everyone, standard resupply protocols. I want maintenance reports on my desk by 1800. He paused. And someone find out why we're really here. Toby Aronix, from the helm, raising an eyebrow. You think this is about more than supplies? Monkey D. Lupin. Walking toward the boarding ramp. I know it is. GDI Maximum Training Facility Zeta, Command Center. The Command Center was a cathedral of modern warfare. Holographic displays lined the walls, showing real-time feeds from every corner of the facility, the docking bay, the training grounds, the armories, the barracks. Officers in GDI uniforms moved between terminals, their voices low and efficient, their eyes fixed on their screens. At the center of it all stood a man who looked like he'd been carved from granite and regret. Lieutenant Mark Phillips. His uniform was immaculate, not a single wrinkle, not a single speck of dust. His jaw was square, his posture rigid, his expression unreadable. He had the look of a man who had seen too much and forgotten too little. The command center doors hissed open. Mark Phillips turned. Monkey D. Lupin walked in, his coat still billowing, his boots echoing on the metal floor. His steel-gray eyes swept across the room, taking in every detail, every face, every weakness. Monkey D. Lupin. Stopping in front of Phillips. I'm guessing you're here to see me. Mark Phillips. Nodding once. Yes. A pause. Monkey D. Lupin. And you know why I'm here. Mark Phillips. His expression unchanged. You're here for resupply. Maintenance. Standard fleet operations. He stepped closer. But that's not why I'm here. Monkey D. Lupin. Tilting his head. Then why are you here, Lieutenant? Mark Phillips gestured toward a holographic display showing the training grounds. Mark Phillips. New recruits. They wanted to join the Crossbone Pirates. Lupin's eyes narrowed. Monkey D. Lupin. Recruits. Mark Phillips. Nodding. Many of them are from the Japanese resistance forces. Survivors of Britannia's occupation. Others are defectors from the world government, soldiers who saw what their leaders were really doing and couldn't stomach it anymore. He pulled up a list of names, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Mark Phillips. They want to fight. They want to make a difference. And they want to do it under your flag. Lupin stared at the list. His jaw tightened. Monkey D. Lupin. Quietly, you're asking me to take responsibility for them. Mark Phillips. I'm asking you to give them a chance. The command center was silent. Then, slowly, Lupin smiled. Not a warm smile. Not a friendly smile. A pirate's smile. Monkey D. Lupin. Turning to face Phillips. You know I'm not a babysitter, right? Mark Phillips, almost smiling back, I know. Monkey D. Lupin, and you know that if they can't keep up, I'll leave them behind. Mark Phillips, I'd expect nothing less. Lupin looked back at the list. Monkey D. Lupin, sighing, fine. I'll meet them. He paused. But if they're wasting my time. Mark Phillips, interrupting, they're not. Lupin raised an eyebrow. Mark Phillips, his expression darkening, Captain, there's something else you need to know. Monkey D. Lupin, suspiciously, what? Mark Phillips walked to the main viewport, gesturing for Lupin to follow. Mark Phillips, do you remember when you saved Suzaku Kururugi from execution? Lupin's expression flickered, just for a moment. Monkey D. Lupin, carefully, I remember. Mark Phillips, the crimes Britannia accused him of, he paused, they weren't lies. Lupin's eyes widened. Mark Phillips, but they weren't his crimes either. He pulled up a holographic file, marked with the highest level of GDI clearance. Mark Phillips, Project Nexus. The file opened, revealing images that made even Lupin, a man who had seen the worst of the Void Century, recoil. Soldiers. Navy and Britannian alike, but not human soldiers. Their bodies had been modified. Metal fused with flesh, weapons integrated into limbs, eyes replaced with targeting systems, brains wired directly into combat computers. They weren't soldiers anymore, they were monsters. Monkey D. Lupin, his voice cold, who did this? Mark Phillips, the world government. Britannia. He closed the file. Together. Lupin's fists clenched. Mark Phillips, they've been working together for years, decades, maybe. The Void Century wasn't just a natural disaster. He turned to face Lupin. It was a cover, a way to hide what they were really doing. Monkey D. Lupin, quietly, the deep down. Mark Phillips, nodding, the technology from the Void Century. The advanced machines, the forbidden knowledge. He shook his head. It wasn't lost. It was hidden. By the world government. By Britannia. By everyone who benefited from keeping the truth buried. Lupin was silent for a long moment. Then he looked up. Monkey D. Lupin, his eyes burning, you said the recruits wanted to join me because they saw what their leaders were doing. Mark Phillips, yes. Monkey D. Lupin, they saw this. Mark Phillips, some of them. Others saw different things. He paused. The world government has been reverse engineering Void Century technology. Mobile suits, weapons, abominations. He gestured at the viewport. And they've been getting help. Monkey D. Lupin, his voice dangerous, help from who? Mark Phillips, the Brotherhood of Nod. Lupin's blood ran cold. Mark Phillips, and a royal family known as, he pulled up another file. Oz. The monitor, Oz's mobile suit development. Mark Phillips gestured to the main holographic display. Mark Phillips, Oz is different from the other world government factions. They're not interested in conquest or control, not directly. He pulled up footage. They're interested in technology. The footage showed a training facility, sterile, white, clinical. In the center of the facility, a mobile suit stood motionless. It was humanoid, broad-shouldered, heavily armored, with a visor that glowed red in the dim light. Its weaponry was mounted externally. A machine gun on its right arm, a beam saber on its left, a shield on its back. Mark Phillips, the OZ-06MS Leo. Mass-produced. Reliable. He shook his head. Expendable. The footage showed the Leo powering up, its visor flashing, its joints hissing as hydraulic fluid circulated through its systems. Then it moved. The Leo raised its machine gun and fired, a burst of rounds that shredded a test dummy in seconds. It drew its beam saber and swung, cutting through another dummy like it was made of paper. Monkey D. Lupin, watching intently, it's basic. Mark Phillips, nodding, that's the point. The Leo isn't meant to be a masterpiece. It's meant to be mass-produced. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. He paused. An army that can be replaced as fast as it's destroyed. Monkey D. Lupin, his jaw tightening, and Oz is building these for the world government. Mark Phillips, nodding, among other things. Lupin stared at the footage, at the Leo, at the test dummies, at the sterile white facility. Monkey D. Lupin, quietly, I've seen this before. Mark Phillips, surprised, where? Monkey D. Lupin, the Void Century. He turned to face Phillips. The ancient civilizations didn't just fall because of natural disasters. They fell because they built armies like this. Armies they couldn't control. He shook his head. And now the world government is making the same mistake. Mark Phillips, grimly, that's not the only thing they're making. He switched the footage. The training facility, AMAIM test. The observation window overlooked a massive training ground, a simulated urban environment filled with concrete buildings, steel structures, and holographic targets. And in the center of the training ground stood a machine that Lupin had never seen before. It wasn't a mobile suit. It was something else. The machine was humanoid, but sleeker than any mobile suit Lupin had encountered. Its frame was lean, almost organic, with armor plating that seemed to flow over its body like liquid metal. Its head was angular, with a single optic that glowed blue in the dim light. In its hands, it held a katana. Not a beam saber. An actual katana, forged from steel that gleamed with an almost supernatural sharpness. Monkey D. Lupin. Leaning forward, what is that? Mark Phillips. His voice almost proud, the YM02 Kanbu. A male's type AMAIM. Monkey D. Lupin. Repeating the words males. AMAIM. He shook his head. Weird names. Mark Phillips. Almost smiling, you get used to them. The Kanbu moved. Not like a mobile suit, not like the lumbering, heavy-footed machines that Lupin had fought against 100 times before. The Kanbu moved like a human. It ran, its legs pumping, its arms swinging, its katana held low and ready. It reached the first test dummy, a humanoid target made of reinforced steel, and swung. The katana cut through the dummy like it was made of butter. The two halves clattered to the ground. The Kanbu didn't stop. It spun, its body twisting, its katana flashing, and cut through a second dummy. Then a third, then a fourth. Monkey D. Lupin. His eyes wide, the speed, the agility. He looked at Phillips. That's not possible for a machine that size. Mark Phillips. Nodding, that's what we thought too. He gestured at the Kanbu. But the male's type doesn't use traditional hydraulics or servos. It uses an artificial nervous system. Direct neural interface. The pilot doesn't control the machine, they become the machine. Monkey D. Lupin. Quietly, that's. He searched for the word terrifying. Mark Phillips. It's also effective. The Kanbu continued its demonstration, dodging incoming fire from automated turrets, blocking simulated beam blasts with its katana, moving through the urban environment with a grace that seemed almost supernatural. Mark Phillips. The pilot's name is Shiba Amu. Former Japanese resistance. He joined GDI after Britannia executed his family for sedition. Monkey D. Lupin. His expression hardening, how old is he? Mark Phillips. 19. Lupin was silent. Mark Phillips. Quietly, the world's been hard on people like him, Captain. People who just wanted to live. People who just wanted to be free. He turned to face Lupin. That's why they want to join you. Because you're the only one fighting for them. Monkey D. Lupin. Meeting his eyes, I fight for myself. Mark Phillips. Shaking his head, number. He gestured at the Kanbu. You fight for them. You just haven't admitted it yet. The R&D wing, nightmare frame development. Feminine voice, and that is not all. Lupin and Phillips turned. A woman stood in the doorway, beautiful, with auburn hair pulled back in a tight bun and emerald eyes that sparkled with intelligence. She wore a white lab coat over a GDI uniform, and in her hands, she held a tablet covered in schematics. Mark Phillips. Nodding at her, Anna. You're late. Anna Clement. Walking into the room, her heels clicking on the metal floor, the Alexander Type 02's transformation sequence was experiencing feedback in the lumbar servos. I had to recalibrate. Monkey D. Lupin. Raising an eyebrow, Alexander Type 02. Anna Clement. Stopping in front of him, offering her hand, Anna Clement. Second Chief of R&D, Nightmare Frame Division. She smiled, warm, but with an edge of steel. And you must be the infamous Monkey D. Lupin. Lupin took her hand. Monkey D. Lupin. Dryly, infamous. Anna Clement. Releasing his hand, your bounty is 12 billion berries, Captain. That's not famous. That's legendary. She turned to Phillips. May I? Mark Phillips. Nodding, go ahead. Anna gestured for them to follow. Anna Clement. Walking toward the door, the Nightmare Frame division has been busy since we joined GDI. The old models, the Glasgow, the Sutherland, even the Vincent, were toys compared to what we're developing now. Monkey D. Lupin, falling into step beside her, and what are you developing now? Anna smiled. Anna Clement, improvements. The Nightmare Frame manufacturing line. The manufacturing line was a cathedral of steel and light. Row after row of Nightmare Frames stood in various stages of assembly, their frames gleaming under the industrial lights, their weapon systems being installed by teams of engineers and servbots. Lupin walked between them, his eyes moving from machine to machine, his mind cataloging every detail. Anna Clement, gesturing at the first row, the Type RN-50 Ninja KMF. Light frame, high mobility, equipped with chaff launchers, smoke dispensers, and a prototype optical camouflage system. She paused. Designed for infiltration and assassination. Monkey D. Lupin, studying the machine, assassination. Anna Clement, her expression hardening. Britannia's leadership isn't going to fall because we beat them in open combat, Captain. They're going to fall because we cut off the head. Lupin didn't argue. He moved to the next row. Anna Clement, gesturing at a heavier, more armored frame, the XKLV-1 Pelias KMF. Heavy assault unit, equipped with a radiant wave shield, twin variable ammunition launchers, and a prototype hadron cannon. Monkey D. Lupin, his eyes widening, hadron cannon. Anna Clement, nodding, reverse engineered from Void Century technology. She gestured at the cannon mounted on the Pelias's shoulder. It fires a beam of accelerated particles that can penetrate any known armor. Monkey D. Lupin, quietly, that's a ship killer. Anna Clement, meeting his eyes, that's the point. Lupin moved to the third row. Anna Clement, gesturing at a frame that looked almost organic, the type is 75 Zan Soko KMF. High-speed pursuit unit, equipped with superconducting linear motors, a prototype energy wing system, and this. She tapped her tablet. The Zan Soko's wings unfolded, not like a bird, but like a blade, gleaming with an almost supernatural sharpness. Anna Clement, monomolecular edge. Can cut through anything. Monkey D. Lupin, staring at the blade, including mobile suit armor. Anna Clement, smiling, especially mobile suit armor. Lupin was silent for a long moment. Then he noticed something, a machine at the end of the row, separated from the others, covered in a tarp. Monkey D. Lupin, pointing, what's that? Anna's smile flickered. Anna Clement, walking toward it, that's special. She pulled the tarp. The Alexander Type 02. The machine beneath was unlike anything Lupin had ever seen. It was smaller than the other Nightmare frames, more compact, more dense. Its frame was angular, almost insectoid, with multiple joints that seemed to bend in ways that shouldn't be possible. And its head was shaped like an ant. Anna Clement, stepping back, admiring the machine, the Alexander Type 02. Transformable Nightmare frame. Monkey D. Lupin, staring, transformable. Anna tapped her tablet. The Alexander Type 02 shifted. Its legs folded. Its arms retracted. Its body compressed, and within seconds, the humanoid machine had transformed into something else entirely. Something insectoid. 4 legs, 2 arms, a head with mandibles and glowing red optics. It looked like a giant mechanical ant. Monkey D. Lupin, taking an involuntary step back. Okay. He looked at Anna. That's terrifying. Anna Clement, grinning, that's the point. Monkey D. Lupin, watching the machine shift back to its humanoid form, how fast is it? Anna Clement, in ant mode. She pulled up the specs. Faster than anything else in our arsenal. The leg configuration allows it to traverse terrain that would stop a traditional Nightmare frame cold. She paused. And it can climb. Monkey D. Lupin, raising an eyebrow, climb. Anna Clement, nodding, walls. Cliffs. Buildings. The Alexander Type 02 can go anywhere. Lupin stared at the machine. Then, slowly, he smiled. Monkey D. Lupin, quietly, how many do you have? Anna Clement, currently, 3 prototypes. She met his eyes. But we can build more. Monkey D. Lupin, nodding, then build them. He turned to face her. We're going to need them. The observation window, new recruits. Lupin stood at the observation window, looking down at the training ground below. Dozens of recruits moved through the facility, some in nightmare frames, some in AMAIMs, some on foot. They practiced. They trained. They prepared. Mark Phillips, appearing beside him, what do you think? Monkey D. Lupin, not looking at him, I think, he paused. I think the world government doesn't know what's coming. Mark Phillips, speak in which I did give you a new mission assignment. There have been strange energy readings coming from an island which was known as Kamen Island. There has been a research base of Nod and Britannia. We don't know exactly what they're researching. Salvage anything you can find. If it turns out to be a doomsday weapon, then it will be destroyed. A new mission. Lupin looked up at Phillips, his expression hardening. Monkey D. Lupin, his voice almost a bark, what do we know about the island? And what kind of research is Nod and Britannia involved in? Mark Phillips, pulling up footage, not much. It's heavily fortified, and there's definitely something going on inside. As for the research, he shook his head, we're not sure yet, but we do know it's highly dangerous. Monkey D. Lupin, staring at the footage, how dangerous? Mark Phillips, his expression grim, unknown. But whatever they're working on, it's powerful. Very powerful. We need to find out what it is and neutralize it. Monkey D. Lupin, nodding, understood. I'll take a team to the island. Mark Phillips, his expression softening, good. But be careful. Scenario 4, Island of Gods and Monsters. The Mother Vanguard cut through the morning mist, its massive hull flanked by 3 Zamouth Jiri-class and 3 Zamouth Jeth-class ships. The Crossbone fleet moved in perfect formation, a testament to Lupin's training and the crew's growing cohesion. On the bridge, the atmosphere was tense. Lupin stood at the central holographic display, his silver eyes fixed on the tactical map. Around him stood his command staff, Lelouch, Kuzan, Marika Kato, and the newly integrated officers from the Japanese resistance. Behind them, the observation deck was packed with the new recruits, their faces a mix of determination and nervous energy. Monkey D. Lupin, okay, listen up, boys and girls. The chatter died instantly. Monkey D. Lupin, this ain't gonna be an easy one. We're going against unknown forces. We don't know what they've got, and we don't know what we're going to find. He paused, his gaze sweeping across the room. But we've got each other. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crew. Lupin tapped the holographic display, and the map zoomed in on a small island in the New World's eastern quadrant. The island was unremarkable on most charts, just another dot in an endless ocean. But the data streaming across the display told a different story. Monkey D. Lupin, GDI doesn't know exactly what's going on here. Massive power spikes have been detected over the past 72 hours. We don't know what Nod and Britannia are up to, but whatever these energy spikes are. He zoomed in further, revealing underground structures. It could be something big. Lelouch stepped closer to the display, his eyes narrowing. Lelouch, there's something else. Look at this. He highlighted a section of the underground facility. The thermal readings were strange, not the chaotic signatures of machinery or the steady warmth of human habitation. This was something else. Something almost organic. And then Lelouch saw it. A symbol, carved into the stone deep beneath the island. A symbol he knew better than almost any other. The Gios symbol. Lelouch, that door. It's almost like the same power I have. Monkey D. Lupin, I noticed. His voice was grim. That's why we need to be careful. This is a recon mission first. We strike hard, we gather intelligence, and we let GDI secure the island afterward. Whatever they're searching for. He let the sentence hang. Monkey D. Lupin, it could change everything. Lupin turned from the holographic display to face the assembled crew directly. His expression was hard, but not cold. There was something else in his silver eyes, something that looked almost like hope. Monkey D. Lupin, remember, this mission is search and destroy. We're not here to kill non-combatants. Scientists, technicians, medical personnel, they're not our targets. If they surrender, we secure them. If they run, we let them run. We're pirates, not butchers. He paused, letting the words sink in. Monkey D. Lupin, that's what separates us from Britannia. From Nod. From Vought and the world government and all the other bastards who think the ends justify the means. We fight to free people. Not to make them afraid of us. From the back of the room, Shiba Amu spoke. Shiba Amu, and if they shoot back? Monkey D. Lupin, then you shoot back harder. But you don't kill anyone who doesn't need killing. That's an order. His eyes swept the room. Any questions? Silence. Monkey D. Lupin, good. Then let's get to work. Sail's Tails appeared at the bridge entrance, his fox ears twitching. The mink's expression was focused, the look of a navigator who had done this 1,000 times and still treated every approach with the same intensity. Sail's Tails, boss. ETA 8 minutes. We're almost at range. He glanced at his datapad. Prepare to launch mobile suits immediately. Monkey D. Lupin. All right, you heard him. Show me what you got. He walked toward the bridge exit, then paused, turning back to face his crew one last time. And try not to act all reckless and egotistical. Remember, we're more than just a crew. We're family. And a family works together. He looked at Lelouch, at Kuzan, at Marika, at the new recruits with fire in their eyes. Monkey D. Lupin. Unlike Britannia. Unlike Oz. Unlike Vought, I've seen the inhumane crimes those bastards committed. And that is why I will not allow anyone under my command to do anything like that. He raised his fist. Monkey D. Lupin. Now let's begin the mission. The bridge erupted in cheers. The hangar bay of the Mother Vanguard was chaos, the beautiful, organized chaos of warriors preparing for battle. Lupin strode through the bay, past maintenance crews making final adjustments, past pilots running through pre-flight checks, past the row of mobile suits, nightmare frames, and super robots that stood ready in their launch cradles. He stopped in front of the XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X1 Kai. The machine gleamed under the hangar lights, its black and white armor polished to perfection, its mono-eye dark and waiting. Lupin placed his hand on the leg strut, feeling the familiar pulse of the machine's systems through his nanites. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, time to dance. He climbed into the cockpit, settling into the pilot's seat as the systems booted up around him. The holographic displays flickered to life, showing tactical data, weapon status, and the faces of his fellow pilots in their own machines. Marika Kato, Overcom, Crossbone X2, ready. Kincaid now, Overcom, Crossbone X3, standing by. Shiba Amu, Overcom, Kanbu, green across the board. Gashin Tezuka, Overcom, Jogan, sensors online. One by one, the reports came in. 43 new recruits, integrated into the Crossbone fleet's combat systems. 43 new reasons to win. Monkey D. Lupin. Crossbone X1, launching. The hangar bay doors slid open. The launch catapult engaged. And the Crossbone pirates descended on Camino Island like a storm. The island bristled with defenses. Nod and Britannia had been busy. Surface-to-air missile batteries dotted the coastline. Automated turrets lined the beaches. And everywhere, moving between fortified positions, were the nightmare frames, Nod's twisted variants alongside Britannia's standard models. Spotlights swept the sky, searching for intruders. They found them. Nod Commander over loudspeaker, incoming hostiles. All units, engage. Too late. The Crossbone fleet had already launched their mobile suits. Kincaid Now's XMX-2X Crossbone Gundam X2 Kai moved first. The buster gun in its hands spat energy bolts that tore through the island's defensive turrets like paper. Britannian nightmare frames exploded in chain reactions as their energy shields proved useless against the Gundam's firepower. Kincaid Now, Overcom, turret grid neutralized. Moving to secondary targets. Toby Aeronix followed close behind in the XMX-3 Crossbone Gundam X3. The I-field generator on its shoulder projected a shimmering barrier that deflected incoming fire, while the Muramasa blaster in its hands carved through enemy units with devastating precision. Toby Aeronix, Overcom, they've got reinforcements coming from the eastern ridge. I'll handle it. And above them all, the XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X1 Kai moved like a ghost. Lupin's machine ducked and weaved through the anti-air fire, its thrusters firing in short, controlled bursts. The Zanbuster in its hands spoke in precise, economical shots, each one destroying a target, each one conserving energy for the fight ahead. Monkey D. Lupin, Overcom, stay focused. We're not here to wipe them out, we're here to find what they're hiding. Push through to the cave system. The Crossbone pilots acknowledged and pressed their attack. The entrance to the underground facility was hidden behind a waterfall at the island's northern edge, a natural formation that had been reinforced with Nod's signature Tiberium alloy plating. The cave mouth gaped like a wound in the earth, and from within, Lupin could feel something pulsing. Something wrong. He landed the Crossbone X1 Kai at the cave entrance, powering down the main thrusters but keeping the weapon systems active. Around him, the rest of the assault force secured the perimeter, Crossbone troopers moving in coordinated sweeps, securing non-combatants and gathering intelligence. Monkey D. Lupin, overcom, Marika, secure the surface. I'm going in. Marika Kato, overcom, Captain, that's not. Monkey D. Lupin, overcom, I said I'm going in. That's an order. He didn't wait for a response. The Crossbone X1 Kai stepped into the darkness of the cave, its head-mounted sensor illuminating the path ahead. The tunnel sloped downward, deeper into the island's core, and with every step, the pulsing grew stronger. Lupin activated his observation hockey. The sensation hit him like a wave. It wasn't Tiberium. It wasn't Compound V. It wasn't any energy signature he had encountered before. It was something older. Something purer. Something that resonated with the same frequency as Lelouch's Geass. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, what the hell are you guys hiding? The tunnel opened into a vast chamber. And there, at the center of the chamber, stood a door. The door was massive, easily 20 meters tall, carved from a material that seemed to shift between stone and light. Its surface was covered in symbols that hurt to look at, patterns that twisted and reformed as Lupin watched. But at the center of the door, clear and unmistakable, was the Geass symbol. The same symbol that lived in Lelouch's eye. The same symbol that represented power beyond mortal understanding. The same symbol that had appeared on the pedestals of the six gods. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, a thought elevator. The words came from somewhere deep in his memory, Asteria's voice, perhaps, or the book from the island. A thought elevator. A doorway to the collective unconsciousness. A place where the gods had walked. And Nod and Britannia had found one. Lupin raised the Zanbuster, aiming directly at the door's central seal. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, I don't know what you are. I don't know what you do. But I know you're not supposed to be in their hands. He fired. The beam struck the Geass symbol, and the door screamed. Not a mechanical sound. Not an explosion. A scream, like something ancient and powerful had just been wounded. The chamber shook. The walls cracked. And somewhere, thousands of miles away, someone felt the impact. Unknown location, Brotherhood of Nod Temple. Kane stood before a holographic display showing the destruction of the thought elevator. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes burned with something that might have been anger. Kane, the thought elevator on Camino has been destroyed. A figure stepped out of the shadows behind him. Short, ancient, wrinkled face twisted by centuries of scheming. VV, the leader of the Geass Order, the one who had granted Geass to countless individuals over the centuries. VV, I noticed. His voice was high-pitched, almost childish, but there was nothing innocent in his eyes. Monkey D. Lupin, he's becoming a problem. Kane, he's becoming inevitable. There's a difference. VV, the thought elevator was valuable. It connected us to powers beyond mortal comprehension. And now it's gone. Kane, one elevator. There are others. VV, fewer than you think. And the more he destroys, the harder our work becomes. Kane turned to face VV fully. Kane, then perhaps we should give him something else to focus on. A distraction. A target he can't ignore. VV, you have something in mind. Kane, I always have something in mind. He pulled up a new holographic display, an image of a young man with black hair and a familiar face. Suzaku Kururugi. Kane, Lupin saved this boy once. He has a connection to him. A sense of responsibility. VV, you want to use Suzaku as bait. Kane, I want to give Lupin a choice. Save Suzaku, or protect the secrets of the Void Century. Let's see which one he values more. VV smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. VV, I'll make the arrangements. While Lupin dealt with the Chaos Door, the rest of the Crossbone forces secured the facility. Crossbone troopers moved through the corridors in disciplined sweeps, securing scientists and technicians, gathering documentation, and marking rooms for later investigation. The non-combatants were treated surprisingly well, given water, checked for injuries, and escorted to holding areas where they would be safe. But in the deepest sublevel of the facility, the troopers found something unexpected. Crossbone Trooper Number 1, overcom, Captain, we've found something. Multiple containers. They look like stasis pods. Monkey D. Lupin, overcom, what's in them? Crossbone Trooper Number 1, overcom, you're going to want to see this for yourself. The chamber was circular, lined with a dozen stasis pods arranged in a semicircle. Each pod glowed with a soft blue light, and inside each pod, suspended in preservation fluid, was a devil fruit. But not normal devil fruits. These were different. The swirl patterns on their surfaces were more complex, more alive. And when Lupin's nanites scanned them, the readings were off the charts. Defender, overcom, boss, I'm getting readings that don't make sense. Each of those fruits is registering 2 distinct energy signatures. They're fusion types. 2 powers in 1 fruit. Lupin's blood ran cold. Lupin's nanites scanned the cylinders, translating the data labels into readable text. Cylinder 1. Astral Blaze No MI. Power 1. Cosmic Energy Manipulation. Power 2. Fire Generation and Control. Classification. Logia Type Fusion. Status. Stable. Cylinder 2. Cybervolt No MI. Power 1. Technology Assimilation. Power 2. Lightning Generation and Control. Classification. Paramesha Type Fusion. Status. Stable. Cylinder 3. Ink Shadow No MI. Power 1. Ink Creation and Manipulation. Power 2. Darkness Generation and Control. Classification. Paramesha Logia Hybrid Fusion. Status. Stable. Defender, overcom, I'm counting 3 of them. 1 labeled, Astral Blaze, Cosmic Energy plus Fire. 1 labeled, Cybervolt, Technology plus Lightning. And 1 labeled, Ink Shadow, Ink Creation plus Darkness. Britannia and Nod weren't just studying devil fruits. They were creating them. Monkey D. Lupin, overcom, secure the fruits. Anti-Tiberium containers. Double shielding. I want those on the Mother Vanguard before anyone even thinks about touching them. Defender, overcom, understood, boss. But there's something else. The feed shifted. Another chamber. Another stasis pod. But this one wasn't holding a fruit. It was holding a person. The pod was different from the others, larger, more ornate, with symbols carved into its frame that matched the chaos door upstairs. Inside, suspended in golden preservation fluid, was a young man. He looked to be in his early 20s. Silver hair floated around his face like a halo. His features were sharp, aristocratic, the kind of face that belonged in a portrait rather than a prison. His eyes were closed, but even in stasis, there was something about him that commanded attention. Crossbone Trooper Number 1, sir, what exactly should we do with him? Lupin stared at the pod. At the young man inside. At the Gios symbol carved into the pod's base. Monkey D. Lupin, open it, carefully. The troopers worked quickly, disengaging the pod's seals and draining the preservation fluid. The young man's eyes fluttered open, blue, like the sky after a storm, but with something ancient lurking beneath. He gasped, coughing up fluid, and Lelouch, who had arrived in the chamber moments before, stepped forward. Lelouch. He looks familiar. The young man's eyes focused on Lelouch's face. Recognition flickered across his features. And then, in a voice raw from disuse, he spoke. Silver-haired man, Lelouch, v. Britannia. You have your mother's eyes. Lelouch went pale. Lelouch, who are you? The young man smiled, a sad, tired expression that spoke of centuries of pain. Silver-haired man, my name is Rai. Rai Kazarin von Britannia. He paused, struggling to sit up. I am your brother. Your elder brother. Lelouch and Nunnally's illegitimate half-brother. The chamber went silent. Lelouch, that's impossible. Father would have. Rai, Charles Z. Britannia did not know. Our mother hid me from him. Hid me from everyone. He looked at his hands, flexing fingers that had not moved in years. She knew what he would do if he found out. What he would use me for. Lupin stepped forward, placing himself between Rai and Lelouch. Monkey D. Lupin, how long were you in that pod? Rai, I don't know. Years, perhaps. Decades. He looked around the chamber, at the stasis pods holding the fusion fruits, at the crossbone troopers with their weapons lowered but ready. The last thing I remember. VV was there. He said I had potential. Said I could be useful. His eyes found Lupin's. Rai, you're the one who destroyed the thought elevator. I felt it. Even in stasis, I felt it. He tilted his head. You carry the Stardust's gift. And the storm's blood. 2 gods in one vessel. Monkey D. Lupin. You know about the gods. Rai, I know many things, Captain. Things that were hidden. Things that were stolen. He struggled to his feet, swaying slightly. And I know that Kane is not the only ancient power playing games with the fate of the world. Lelouch stepped around Lupin, his expression unreadable. Lelouch, if you're truly my brother, why should I trust you? Rai, you shouldn't. He met Lelouch's gaze without flinching. Trust is earned, not given. But I can offer you something that might make the risk worthwhile. Lelouch, what? Rai, the location of the other thought elevators. The ones Nod and Britannia haven't found yet. He smiled, a thin, sharp expression. And the truth about what Charles Z. Britannia is really planning. Lupin and Lelouch exchanged glances. Monkey D. Lupin, take him to the medical bay. Treat his injuries. And keep him under guard. He looked at Rai. If you're lying. Rai, if I'm lying, you can put me back in the pod. He met Lupin's gaze steadily. But I'm not lying, Captain. The world is ending. And you're the only one who might be able to stop it. The island was secure. GDI reinforcements had arrived within the hour, taking control of the facility and beginning the long process of cataloging everything Nod and Britannia had left behind. The fusion devil fruits were safely stored in the Mother Vanguard's cargo hold. The scientists and technicians were in holding cells, awaiting interrogation. And Rai was in the medical bay, undergoing tests to determine the extent of his stasis-induced injuries. Lupin stood on the deck of the Mother Vanguard, watching the sun set over Camino Island. Lelouch joined him. Lelouch, you believe him? About being my brother. Monkey D. Lupin, I believe he believes it. Whether it's true. He shrugged. We'll find out. Your mother was a smart woman. If she hid him, she had a reason. Lelouch, and the thought elevators. Monkey D. Lupin, if what he says is true, there are more of them. Doorways to the collective unconsciousness. Places where the gods walked. He turned to face Lelouch. If Nod or Britannia control those doors. Lelouch, they could access powers that haven't been seen since the Void Century. Monkey D. Lupin, exactly. They stood in silence for a moment. Lelouch, what do we do now? Monkey D. Lupin, now, we train, we prepare, we gather more allies. He looked out at the horizon. Kane made his move. Britannia made their move. Now it's our turn. He placed his hand on Lelouch's shoulder. Monkey D. Lupin, but first, we go see your brother. I have questions. And I think he has answers. Lelouch nodded. Lelouch, and if he's dangerous. Monkey D. Lupin, then we deal with it. Like we always do. He smiled, a fierce, determined expression. Monkey D. Lupin, together. Scenario 5. Helping the bonds. Part 1. The gift. The Mother Vanguard's main hangar had been transformed into a training ground. Lupin stood at the center of the open space, his arms crossed, watching as 3 men prepared to consume powers that would change them forever. Around them, the crew had gathered, some curious, some concerned, all silent as the gravity of the moment settled over the hangar. 3 stasis containers sat on a reinforced table. Inside each one, a fusion-type devil fruit pulsed with otherworldly light. Cylinder 1. Astral Blaze No MI, Cosmic Energy plus Fire. Cylinder 2. Cybervolt No MI, Technology plus Lightning. Cylinder 3. Ink Shadow No MI, Ink Creation plus Darkness. Monkey D. Lupin, you 3 understand what you're about to do. Once you eat these, there's no going back. The sea becomes your enemy. Seastone becomes your weakness. And every pirate, marine, and government agent in the world will want to capture you for your powers. Billy Butcher, sounds like Tuesday. The gruff Brit stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the Astral Blaze fruit. I've been chasing bastards with Compound V for years. Watched them crumble, go mad, turn into monsters. This ain't that, is it? Monkey D. Lupin, no. Devil fruits are natural, stable. The power becomes part of you, completely under your control. Unlike Compound V's cheap crap, these fruits give you 2 powers in one. Vot's serum only gives 1. And it's unstable. Butcher picked up the Astral Blaze fruit. Its surface swirled with patterns that looked like distant galaxies colliding with solar flares. Billy Butcher, 2 powers for the price of 1. He grinned, a sharp, dangerous expression. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone, then. He bit into the fruit. The transformation was immediate. Flames erupted from Butcher's body, not consuming him, but surrounding him. Cosmic energy crackled at his fingertips, tiny stars forming and dying in the palm of his hand. His eyes blazed with an inner fire, and when he spoke, his voice echoed with something ancient. Billy Butcher, bloody hell. He looked at his hands, flexing fingers that now glowed with stellar light. This feels right. Not like the cheap shit Vought peddles. This is real. Mother's milk might turn. He took the ink shadow fruit. Unlike Butcher's explosive transformation, MM's was subtle, almost gentle. Shadows pooled at his feet. Ink dripped from his fingertips like liquid darkness. He raised his hand, and the ink coalesced, forming shapes. A bird, a wolf, a soldier standing at attention. All made of shadow and ink, all moving with purpose. Constructs. He watched the ink soldier salute, then dissolve back into shadow. I can create anything I imagine. Give it form. Give it life. Frenchie, magnifique. He took the cybervolt fruit last. Electricity danced across his skin as he ate, arcing between his fingers and through his hair. But something else happened too. His eyes flickered with digital readouts, and when he touched the metal floor of the hangar, he felt the ship's systems. The circuits. The data streams. Frenchie, I can hear the machines. He pressed his hand against the wall, and lights flickered in response. Not just electricity. Technology itself. It speaks to me now. Monkey D. Lupin. Cybervolt. Technology assimilation and lightning control. He nodded approvingly. You're going to be a nightmare for anyone who relies on electronics. Billy Butcher. Good. He extinguished the flames around his fists, the cosmic energy fading into his skin. Now teach us how to use these proper. Lupin smiled. Monkey D. Lupin. That's the plan. But first. His transponder snail buzzed. Lupin pulled it from his pocket. The snail's face shifted, and Tron Bond's urgent voice crackled through the speaker. Tron Bond, over snail, Lupin. It's an emergency. Lupin's expression hardened. Monkey D. Lupin. What is it? What's wrong? Tron Bond, over snail, it's Teisel. He's in trouble. He owes a debt to a man named Loth, a greedy, rich monster. Loth has him trapped in a mining facility. Lupin, please. Monkey D. Lupin. What the hell? He pinched the bridge of his nose. I gave you people plenty of money. We raided the celestial dragons. We have more gold than we know what to do with. How did Teisel manage to get into debt? Tron Bond, over snail, I don't know. But please, you have to help him. Lupin was silent for a moment. Then he sighed. Monkey D. Lupin. A captain doesn't abandon his crew. He turned to Butcher, Frenchie, and Sorry, boys. Training's on hold. One of our own is in trouble. Billy Butcher, we're coming with you. Monkey D. Lupin. No. He held up a hand. This is a rescue mission. If things go sideways, I need you 3 here, protecting the ship and the crew. Understood. Butcher looked like he wanted to argue. But placed a hand on his shoulder, and the big man relented. Billy Butcher, fine, but if you need backup. Monkey D. Lupin. I'll call. He was already running toward the hangar bay. Stay sharp. Something tells me this isn't just about a debt. Part 2. Into the mine. The Crossbone X-1's thrusters ignited, launching the mobile suit out of the Mother Vanguard's hangar and into the open sky. Lupin had the coordinates Tron had given him, a mining facility on a remote island in the New World. As he flew, he studied the data. Something didn't add up. Loth was wealthy. Everyone knew that. He didn't need to mine for anything. So why had he taken Teisel to a mine? Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, what are you hiding down there? The facility came into view, a massive open pit mine carved into the earth, surrounded by security towers and automated defenses. But the defenses were already damaged. Some had been destroyed by what looked like massive fists. Monkey D. Lupin over Calm. Tron. I see the facility. What's your status? Tron Bon over Calm. I'm at the main entrance in the Gustav. Teisel is inside, deeper in the mine. Loth's security bots are everywhere, but we've been holding them off. Lupin brought the Crossbone X1 down in front of the entrance. The Gustav stood waiting, Tron's massive, blocky machine, its paint scratched and dented from battle. Tron Bon over Calm. Took you long enough. Monkey D. Lupin over Calm. I know. But why exactly is Loth using your brother to mine for something? The man has enough money to buy a country. Tron Bon over Calm. That's what I've been trying to figure out. There's something in this mine. Something Loth wants badly enough to kidnap my idiot brother to dig it up. Monkey D. Lupin over Calm. Then let's find out what it is. The two machines moved into the mine shaft. Part 3. The Rescue. The tunnels were dark, lit only by the headlamps of the Crossbone X-1 and the Gustav. Security bots emerged from side passages, clumsy, boxy machines armed with weak lasers and weaker armor. They didn't stand a chance. Lupin's Zanbuster cut through them in precise bursts. Tron's Gustav crushed them under its massive feet. Together, they pushed deeper into the mine, following the signal from Teisel's transponder. Tron Bon, there you are. Favorite, Servbot Miss Tron. We found him. Tron Bon, good job. Thank you. Favorite, Miss Tron. It's an honor. Thank you for thanking me. I mean. Teisel Bon, alright, already. Let's get out of here. Teisel was dirty, bruised, but alive. He stood in a side chamber surrounded by broken security bots and servbots who had apparently mounted their own rescue attempt. Tron Bon. Wait, before that. Teisel. Now what? Tron Bon, we're not going to leave here empty-handed. We're going to take everything Loth found. Teisel. Right. Good idea. He laughed, a loud, boisterous sound. We'll make him sorry he ever heard the name, Bon. But as they moved deeper into the mine to collect Loth's treasures, the tunnel opened into a vast cavern. And there, half buried in the rock, was a head. A massive head. It was easily 50 meters tall, a humanoid face carved from some metal that gleamed even in the dim light. Its eyes were closed, but its expression was one of terrible awareness. Sleeping. Waiting. Monkey D. Lupin inside Crossbone X1. Holy Jesus. Tron Bon, what is this? It looks like the Colossus's head. Teisel. I had no idea it was this big. It might be a little trickier to get this out of here than I thought. Glide echoing through the cavern, always thinking about number 1, Teisel. Teisel. G. Glide. Favorite, Miss Tron. Up there. Glide descended from above in his bird robot, flanked by a squadron of birdbots. His face was twisted with smug satisfaction. Glide, in bird robot, I don't know how you escaped, but here you are, all together, one big happy family, Thinking about what to do with you was keeping me awake at night. Now that we've got the Colossus, we don't really need you anymore, do we, darlings? Birdbot. Ever hear the expression, between a rock and a hard place? That's your situation. Squawk. Glide's bird robot turned to face the Crossbone X1. For a moment, the man inside seemed to study Lupin's machine with something approaching respect. Glide, in bird robot. Well, so you must be the famous, Iron Devil, that the world government has been so afraid of. He chuckled. A real honor. Monkey D. Lupin, inside Crossbone X1. Yeah. And I'm here to fight a real douchebag like you. He raised the Zanbuster. I know what you're playing at with that machine. I may be a pirate, but I know the difference between using power to protect and using it to terrorize. I'll show you what true strength is. Teisel, if you think we're going to go quietly without a fight, you'd better think again. Tron Bon, that's right. Now that Teisel's back, we don't have to play nice anymore. Understand? Teisel, hey, Tron. You'll let me drive, right? Tron Bon, sorry, big brother. Let me handle this. Teisel, hey, Tron. Monkey D. Lupin, inside Crossbone X1. I've got your back, Tron. Let's send this peacock packing. Part 4, Battle against Glide. The fight was intense but short. Glide was competent, his bird robot was agile, heavily armed, and piloted by someone who had clearly done this before. But he was fighting two opponents who had trained for war, not showmanship. The Crossbone X1 moved like a phantom, its thrusters firing in unpredictable bursts, its Zanbuster and Buster gun working in tandem to strip away the bird robot's armor. The Gustav was slower but devastating, each punch from its massive fist sent shockwaves through the cavern, forcing Glide to dodge or be crushed. Within minutes, the bird robot was smoking, its systems failing. Tron Bon. Huh. Glide, in bird robot, ho ho ho. You're more than just a pretty face, aren't you, my dear? Birdbot. Not bad, for a biped. Squawk. Glide, in bird robot, but we've only just started, the real fun is about to begin. Now you'll see true power. Activate ultimate glide transformation. Tizel. What the? Before the transformation could begin, something massive dropped from the ceiling. Bon Bon. The giant servbot, Tron's most loyal creation, fell on Glide's bird robot like a meteor, crushing it into the cavern floor. Birdbot bruised, squawk. Favorite, shocked master. Bon Bon. Bon Bon. Babuboo. Tron Bon. Bon Bon. Where did you come from? Monkey D. Lupin, inside Crossbone X1, he raised the Crossbone X1's hand, giving Bon Bon a thumbs up. Nice shot, man. Tizel. Gee, good job, Bon Bon. I guess you owed Glide one too, didn't you? Bon Bon. Babu. Glide, scorched, struggling to his feet. This isn't the end. Oh no, just you wait. You haven't seen the last of us. Glide and his birdbots ran toward the exit, fell flat on their faces, scrambled up, and fled into the darkness. Birdbot blackened. This isn't over, squawk. Part 5, The Colossus Awakens. Tizel. Looks like they're not giving up yet. Bon Bon, I'm worried about the Gesellschaft. You get back and check on it. Bon Bon. Babu. Bon Bon waddled toward the exit. But before he could leave, a golden light. It emerged from the shadows, a pulsing, radiant object that floated through the air like a living thing. It moved toward the massive head buried in the rock, and as it touched the metal forehead, the head's eyes snapped open. Favorite. Miss Tron, look. The Colossus's head moved. Its eyes glowed with golden light. Its mouth opened in a silent roar. And the walls of the cavern began to crack. Tizel. They've activated it. It's alive. Tron Bon. So, they're bringing out the big guns, We must have scared them. Monkey D. Lupin, inside Crossbone X1, oh crap. This is going to turn from bad to worse. Tizel. I don't think this one's gonna be easy. Part 6, Escape. Loathed from somewhere above, at controls, Glide was able to buy me enough time to get the Colossus activated. All I have to do is push this button right here. He pushed it. Ignition. On the Colossus's head, red energy pylons extended from its temples, crackling with power. Loath. All right, playtime's over. It's time to get serious. Let's begin. The Colossus's head began to rise. The cavern ceiling shattered as the massive construct pushed upward, revealing that the head was attached to a body that had been buried for centuries, now awakening. Monkey D. Lupin, inside Crossbone X1, oh shit, it's beginning to move. Loath maniacal, it's moving. It's moving. Let's see. Where shall we begin? He laughed. How about conquering the world? Tizel. Oh, he's not stopping. He's gonna bring the whole place down. The cavern was collapsing. Rocks fell from the ceiling. The floor cracked and shifted. Tron Bon, overcome, this is Tron. We need a pickup, fast. Home in on my signal. Monkey D. Lupin, inside Crossbone X1, right then. Let's get the hell out of here. The Crossbone X1's thrusters fired at maximum overdrive. The Gustav ran desperately behind him, Tron and Tizel holding on for dear life. Tizel. Troon. It's too late. The ceiling's collapsing. Wah. The Crossbone X1 burst from the mine entrance just as the entire facility caved in behind it. The Gustav tumbled out moments later, covered in dust but intact. Above them, the Colossus rose. It was enormous, hundreds of meters tall, humanoid, its body covered in ancient armor that gleamed with golden light. Its face was expressionless, but its eyes burned with something that looked like awareness. And at its core, controlling it from a cockpit in its chest, was Loath. Loath amplified, the world will kneel. The Bond family thought they could steal from me. The Crossbone pirates think they can stop me. He laughed. You're all nothing. The Colossus will crush you all. Monkey D. Lupin inside Crossbone X1. He looked up at the towering machine. Then he activated his comm. Butcher. Frenchie. I need backup. Now. Billy Butcher over comm. On our way, Captain. What are we up against? Monkey D. Lupin inside Crossbone X1. Something big. Something ancient. And someone who's about to learn why you don't threaten my crew. He raised the Zanbuster, aiming at the Colossus's head. Monkey D. Lupin inside Crossbone X1. Tron. Teisel, get clear. This is going to get ugly. Tron Bon, but the Colossus. Monkey D. Lupin. Leave it to me. I've got a bad feeling this is exactly what Kane and the world government have been waiting for. His silver eyes narrowed. And I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. The Colossus took a step forward, and the ground shook. The real battle had just begun. Scenario 6. Destroy the Colossus. By some miracle, or perhaps by Lupin's stubborn refusal to die, the Crossbone X1, the Gustav, and Bon Bon had all made it back to the Mother Vanguard. The main flagship of the Crossbone fleet had its docking bay doors open, welcoming the battered machines home. Lupin climbed out of his cockpit, his body aching, his nanites already working to repair minor injuries. Across the bay, Teisel was yelling at a group of servbots who had somehow managed to get themselves stuck in a supply crate. Bon Bon stood in the corner, recharging, his single eye dim. But the relief of survival was short-lived. Billy Butcher, on the bridge, staring out the observation window. Bloody hell. His voice was barely a whisper. What the actual fuck happened out there? Lupin joined him at the window. Outside, standing tall against the darkening sky, was the Colossus. It was enormous. Hundreds of meters of ancient armor, golden light pulsing from its joints, its eyes burning with malevolent awareness. At its chest, visible even from this distance, was a cockpit, and inside that cockpit, Loth was laughing. Monkey D. Lupin. Let's just say. He pointed at the towering machine. That is our biggest problem. And if we don't stop it, that will be our extinction. Stepped up beside them, his dark eyes fixed on the Colossus. Jesus. As if to punctuate his words, the Navy chose that moment to arrive. A fleet of marine battleships emerged from the horizon, their cannons already tracking toward the Colossus. Britannian forces followed, nightmare frames launched from carrier ships, their energy shields flickering to life. They opened fire. Cannons roared. Missiles streaked through the air. Nightmare frames swarmed the Colossus like angry insects, cutting into its armor with Harkins and Varus rifles. The Colossus raised one massive hand. A beam of green energy erupted from its palm, wide, devastating, absolute. The beam swept across the marine fleet, and ships that had existed for decades were simply gone. Nightmare frames evaporated. Soldiers screamed for a moment and then were silent. One shot. Jesus. Monkey D. Lupin. And just like that, one shot. Billy Butcher's eyes widened as he took in the sight of the Colossus under Loth's control. His newly acquired cosmic fire flickered beneath his skin, responding to his rising anger. Billy Butcher, that's our worst nightmare. Monkey D. Lupin. Yeah. He turned away from the window. But we're not running from it. Tron Bon, pushing through the crowd, her face determined despite her injuries. Captain. Give the order. Lupin looked at her, at the blood still drying on her forehead, at the fire in her eyes that matched his own. He nodded. Monkey D. Lupin, over shipwide comms, all ships. Begin firing immediately. Weapons to maximum. The Crossbone fleet answered. The Mother Vanguard's missile launchers opened up, sending waves of explosives toward the Colossus. The 3 Zamouth Jiri-class ships followed suit, their 4X twin main guns and 6X twin machine guns blazing. The 3 Zamouth Jeth-class ships added their 2X twin main guns to the barrage. The sky turned orange with fire. And when the smoke cleared, the Colossus was still standing. Its armor was barely dented. Scratched, perhaps, singed in a few places. But intact, unbroken. Loth amplified, mocking, BWA ha 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 ha. You'll have to do better than that. Now it's my turn. The Colossus lifted its arms. Green energy gathered in its palms. And fired. Part 2, the fleet takes a hit. The twin green lasers struck the Crossbone fleet with devastating force. The Mother Vanguard's beam shield activated just in time, Lupin's nanites interfacing with the ship's systems to reinforce the defense. The shield held, barely, but the impact sent shockwaves through the bridge. Tron Bon. Eek. Servbots in chorus wah. Tizel. Hoa. The lights flickered. Alarms blared. And Lupin, standing at the center of the bridge, his hands pressed against the main console, felt something inside him snap. Then everything went black. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, fading, not yet. Servbot, over comms, panicked, engine room to bridge. Engine number 2 has been destroyed. We've lost 50% of our power. Lupin's vision returned in fragments. The bridge was chaos, smoke, sparks, crew members picking themselves up off the floor. And Tron. Tron was on her knees, her hand pressed against her forehead. Blood seeped between her fingers. Tron Bon. Yes. Favorite, Servbot Miss Tron. You're hurt. Lupin forced himself to his feet. His nanites were working overtime, healing internal damage, but he could feel the strain. Monkey D. Lupin. Get medics. We have someone injured. 3 crossbone medics rushed onto the bridge, gently lifting Tron onto a stretcher and carrying her toward the medical bay. She protested weakly, but the blood loss was too severe, she needed treatment. Lupin watched her go, then turned back to the observation window. The Colossus stood triumphant, unscathed, unstoppable. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, right now, we need all the help we can get. He looked around the bridge. At his crew, his family, who had followed him into danger and never once complained. Monkey D. Lupin, to the crew, even if it means I have to go in alone. His voice hardened. At least I'll die trying. At least I'll die trying to save every one of you. He met Billy Butcher's eyes. Billy Butcher. He nodded. Respectfully. Go give him hell, Captain. Lupin turned to the engineer. Engineer. He nodded with determination. Crossbone X1. Prepped and ready. Monkey D. Lupin. Prepare my Crossbone X1 immediately. I'm going in alone. He started toward the hangar bay. Lelouch. Sorry, brother. Lupin stopped. Lelouch. But I can't allow you to do that. Lupin turned. Lelouch was standing in the bridge doorway, and behind him, the men and women of the Black Knights, the resistance fighters who had joined the Crossbone Pirates. Their faces were grim. Ready. Lelouch. I'm coming with you. You may be my brother, but I'm not letting you die alone. Lupin stared at him for a long moment. Then he smiled. A tear rolled down his cheek. Monkey D. Lupin. You idiot. He laughed, a broken, grateful sound. Fine, but try to keep up. Part 3, 2 Gundams against a god. The hangar bay doors opened. 2 machines launched into the smoke-filled sky. XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X1 piloted by Monkey D. Lupin. XMX-0 Crossbone Gundam X0 piloted by Lelouch V. Britannia. The 2 Gundams flew in perfect formation, their thrusters burning bright against the dark clouds. The Colossus's sensors tracked them, tried to target them. But they were too fast. Too skilled. Lupin's nanites enhanced his reflexes beyond human limits. Lelouch's Geos enhanced spatial awareness let him predict the Colossus's firing patterns seconds before they happened. Together, they moved like twin ghosts, weaving through beams that should have been impossible to dodge. Monkey D. Lupin, overcome, are you ready for this, brother? Lelouch, overcome, ready as I'll ever be. They landed on the Colossus's chest. The ancient metal groaned beneath their feet. Somewhere above them, Loth was screaming orders, trying to bring his weapons to bear. But the Colossus was too slow, built for destruction, not precision. The 2 Gundams climbed toward the head. Lelouch, overcome, it seems we've got company. Panels on the Colossus's chest slid open. From within, things emerged, humanoid machines, agile and sleek, their bodies glowing with the same green energy as the Colossus's weapons. Monkey D. Lupin, overcome, Shirukurusu. Agile humanoid reaverbots. He raised his Zanbuster. So that conniving bastard also has control of his own small army of tin cans. Lelouch, overcome, then we'll just have to break his toys. The battle was intense but brief. The Shirukurusu were fast, but the 2 Gundams were faster. Lelouch's X-0 moved with surgical precision, its buster gun picking off reaverbots with single shots. Lupin's X1 was more aggressive, its Zanbuster and Beam Zanber cutting through groups of enemies at once. But as they fought, Lupin noticed something. Energy cylinders. 6 of them, embedded in the Colossus's chest, pulsing with the same green light as the Reaverbots. Monkey D. Lupin, overcome, Lelouch. Those cylinders, they're powering the Colossus's systems. Lelouch, overcome, I see them. On my mark. They moved in unison. Lelouch, overcome, mark. The 2 Gundams fired simultaneously. Beam shots struck the energy cylinders, one after another, and each explosion caused the Colossus to shudder. 1 cylinder destroyed. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Colossus stopped moving. Loth from the cockpit, panicked. What? It stopped moving. Glide. It appears we've lost, Mr. Loth. Loth. Those little. They won't get away with this. Glide. Even if it uses all of our remaining energy, we should still deal with them. We will at least break even by collecting our refractors and then escaping with them. Loth. This time, I'll be sure I destroy them all. All of them, especially those little yellow ones. The golden refractor appeared, floating, pulsing with ancient light. It descended into the Colossus's head, and the head detached from the body. Engines ignited. The head rose into the air, its eyes glowing with deadly intent. Lelouch, overcome, well. This has become annoying. Monkey D. Lupin, overcome, never knew that Smug Prick actually had some trump cards. Lelouch, overcome, then it seems we're going to have to take out its last main power source. Monkey D. Lupin, overcome, yeah. It seems so. The Colossus's head fired again and again, beams of green death that could have leveled cities. The 2 Gundams dodged. They moved in perfect synchronization, Lupin's aggressive charges complemented by Lelouch's tactical positioning. Beam fire crossed between them, covering each other's blind spots, creating openings that neither could have exploited alone. Inside the cockpit of Crossbone X1, Lupin's hands flew across the controls. His nanites pulsed beneath his skin, connecting directly to the Gundam's systems, making the machine an extension of his own body. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, faster. I need to be faster. The Crossbone X1's thrusters flared, and the Gundam shot forward, straight toward the Colossus's head. Inside the cockpit of Crossbone X0, Lelouch's Geass eye burned. He could see the beams before they fired, could trace their trajectories, predict their paths, calculate the exact moment to move. Lelouch, to himself, there. He pulled the trigger, and the X0's buster gun fired, not at the head, but at the golden refractor visible through a crack in the Colossus's armor. The shot struck true. The golden refractor cracked. And the Colossus's head began to fall. Inside the collapsing Colossus. Loth panicked. What's happening? What's going on? Why does this have to happen to me? Exit. Where's the exit? He ran. Glide ran after him. The birdbot followed, its wings sparking. Glide. Mr. Loth, wait for me. Birdbot bruised, looks like they've run out of luck. Squawk. They burst out of the collapsing head, falling toward the water below. Loth screamed. Glide flailed. The birdbot flapped its broken wings uselessly. Tron Bon, overcome, from the Mother Vanguard, don't let them get away. But it was too late. They hit the water. The Drash, the Crossbone Fleet's support vessel, hovered over the water. The 2 Crossbone Gundams stood on its deck, their weapons aimed at the splashing figures below. Loth and Glide struggled to stay afloat. The birdbot bobbed beside them, its systems failing. Loth begging, I'm sorry, really, I am. Please forgive me. Please help me. Tron Bon, overcome, showing no mercy, no. Loth. Please. Can't you forgive me? I know I treated you badly, but you can't leave us here. Inside the cockpit of the Crossbone X1, Monkey D. Lupin smiled. It was not a kind smile. Monkey D. Lupin, overcome, actually. I think I have something else in mind. Sometime later, a nearby Marine outpost. The Marine on night duty was bored. It was a quiet outpost, small, unimportant, the kind of place where nothing ever happened. He'd been stationed here for 6 months, and the most exciting thing he'd seen was a seagull stealing someone's lunch. Then someone knocked on the door. He opened it, and froze. Tied up on the doorstep, gagged with tape and shivering in the night air, were 2 men. One was rich, had to be, with those clothes. The other was flamboyant, dressed in feathers and silk that were now soaked and ruined. Next to them, pinned to the door by a knife, was a note. The Marine pulled the knife free and read, "From your friendly neighborhood pirates. These two have committed the crime of almost taking over the world. Enclosed you will find evidence of every crime they've committed. Every debt, every theft, every life they've destroyed. Do with them what you will. The Crossbone Pirates." The Marine looked down at the two men. At the stack of documents tied to the note, pages and pages of crimes, meticulously documented. Marine, to himself, the Crossbone Pirates, left his presence. He looked up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, he knew, the Crossbone fleet was sailing away. Laughing, probably. Celebrating their victory. Marine, to himself, crazy bastards. He smiled despite himself. Then he called his commanding officer. Part 8. Aftermath, the Mother Vanguard. Lupin stood on the deck of the Mother Vanguard, watching the sun rise over a sea no longer threatened by the Colossus. Lelouch joined him. Lelouch, you left them alive. Monkey D. Lupin. Yeah, Lelouch, they would have killed you. Killed Tron. Killed everyone on this ship. Monkey D. Lupin. Probably. He shrugged. But I'm not an executioner. I'm a pirate. And pirates don't kill people who can't fight back. Lelouch was silent for a moment. Lelouch, the Marines will execute them. Or imprison them for life. Monkey D. Lupin. That's their choice. Not mine. He turned to face his brother. I gave Loth and Glide the same chance I give everyone. Surrender or die. They surrendered. Lelouch, they were begging for mercy. Monkey D. Lupin. And I gave it to them. His silver eyes hardened. But mercy isn't freedom. They have to answer for what they did. And if the Marines decide that answer is death. He shrugged again. That's justice. Not murder. Lelouch studied him for a long moment. Lelouch, you're a strange man, Monkey D. Lupin. Monkey D. Lupin. I'm a pirate. He smiled. We're all strange. They stood together as the sun rose higher, painting the sea in shades of gold and orange. Below deck, Tron was recovering in the medical bay, surrounded by anxious servbots. Butcher, Frenchie, and MM were testing their new powers in the training room, sending shockwaves through the ship's reinforced walls. Teisel was already planning the next treasure hunt. And somewhere, in a marine outpost, two men who had tried to conquer the world were staring at the inside of a cell. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, one battle at a time. He looked out at the horizon. The world was still out there. Still broken. Still waiting for someone to fix it. Monkey D. Lupin, to himself, were coming. Scenario 7. Defense, the final stand against Nod. Location. Mother Vanguard, bridge, approaching Nod territory. The Crossbone fleet sailed through turbulent waters, the sky above them streaked with the sickly green glow of an approaching ion storm. The aftermath of the Colossus battle was still fresh. Repair crews worked around the clock. Tron Bonne recovered in the medical bay, and the three new Devil Fruit users trained relentlessly. But there was no rest for the wicked. Or for the pirates who hunted them. Monkey D. Lupin. Say that again. Sails tails, fox mink, ears flat against his head. GDI sent an urgent transmission. The Brotherhood of Nod's main headquarters, their final stronghold, is making a move. Kane is preparing something big. Something that could convert the entire planet. The bridge went silent. Lelouch, convert the planet. Convert it to what? Sails tails, Tiberium. He's got a warhead. A single warhead with enough concentrated Tiberium to. He swallowed. To turn the whole world into a green paradise. His words, not mine. Billy Butcher, bloody hell. The mad bastard's gone full apocalypse. Monkey D. Lupin. Then we stop him. He turned to the helm. Set course for GDI's coordinates. Maximum speed. The fleet changed direction, cutting through the waves toward what might be their final battle. Location. Mother Vanguard, observation deck. While the crew prepared for battle, Lupin wandered through the ship, checking on his people. The medical bay was full but stable. The hangar bay was a flurry of activity, mechanics swarming over mobile suits, nightmare frames, and super robots. And then he saw it. Tacked to a bulletin board near the mess hall, among other notices and wanted posters, was a piece of paper that made Lupin stop dead in his tracks. Wanted. Troll Scout. 3 billion berries. Alive only. The biggest troll in existence. The image showed a blue-clad scout, similar to Epic Scout, but with a battered boot strapped to his head like a hat. His expression was infuriatingly smug. His middle finger was raised at the camera. Monkey D. Lupin, exploding, 3 billion. How the hell did this bastard actually get a bounty higher than me? The mess hall went quiet. Every head turned to stare at their captain, who was now glaring at a piece of paper as if it had personally insulted his ancestors. Epic Scout strolling in, cafeteria tray in hand. Oh, you saw that, huh? Lupin spun on him. Monkey D. Lupin, you know this guy. Epic Scout. Yeah, I know him. He set down his tray and walked over to the poster, his expression somewhere between annoyance and grudging respect. That's Troll Scout. He's the biggest troll in the world. In all of existence, probably. He knows exactly how to get on people's nerves. Monkey D. Lupin, 3 billion berries. That's more than my bounty. Epic Scout. Yeah, but look, alive only. That's the thing about Troll Scout. He's never actually killed anyone. He's just. Epic Scout searched for the right word. Inconvenient. He shows up, does something so annoying that entire armies forget what they were fighting about and start chasing him instead, and then he disappears. The world government put that bounty on him because every time they try to do something important, he's there. Trolling. Lupin stared at the poster. At the smug face. At the boot on the head. Monkey D. Lupin. I hate him already. Epic Scout. Join the club. But hey, if he's here, that means something important is about to happen. He only shows up when the stakes are high. Monkey D. Lupin. Great. So we've got a genocidal prophet with a Tiberian warhead, and now we've got a cosmic troll with a boot on his head. He ripped the poster off the board. I need coffee. Epic Scout. We're out. Troll Scout stole it. Lupin's eye twitched. Monkey D. Lupin. I really hate him already. Part 3. Arrival at the Stronghold. Location. GDI Forward Operating Base, near Nod's main headquarters. The Crossbone fleet arrived to find chaos. GDI forces were already engaged, mammoth tanks firing at Nod structures, Orca aircraft swooping through the Ion storm-torn sky, infantry fighting through the ruins of what had once been a city. Above them all, the sky crackled with green lightning, and the air tasted of ozone and tiberium. The Kodiak, GD's massive command ship, was grounded, its engines smoking, its hull pitted by energy weapons fire. Nod forces surrounded it, converging like wolves on a wounded bear. Lupin, over comms, Crossbone fleet, form up. We're punching through to the Kodiak. Marika Kato, over comms, Captain, the ion storm is interfering with our sensors and communications. We're flying blind. Lelouch, over comms, then we trust our instincts. Lupin, I'll take the Black Knights and secure the Kodiak's perimeter. You push toward the Nod command center. Monkey D. Lupin, over comms, agreed. Everyone, watch your six. This is Kane's home turf. He's going to have surprises. The Crossbone fleet descended on the Nod forces like a hammer. Location. Nod Temple, main chamber. Kane stood before a massive view screen, watching the battle unfold. His arms were spread wide, his bald head gleaming under the green light of the Tiberium warhead that dominated the center of the chamber. Behind him, strapped to a table, was Umagan, a prisoner, a soldier, a tool. Kane. I can't wait forever, McNeil. If I must take the fight to you. Umagan, spitting blood, it's a fight you will lose. Kane turned. His face was scarred, marked by decades, perhaps centuries, of battles and betrayals. But his eyes burned with absolute conviction. Kane. I've already won the fight. As we speak, the earth is transforming itself into a virgin paradise, an Eden, awaiting the birth of a new race. A race in which you will be the newest member. In a matter of hours. Umagan. McNeil will come. He stopped your missiles, he'll stop you. Kane smiled. It was not a kind expression. Kane. It's time you saw the future, while you still have human eyes. He grabbed Umagan's head and forced it to turn toward the warhead. The weapon was beautiful in a terrible way, a crystalline structure the size of a small building, pulsing with green light, humming with power. Concentrated tiberium, enough to convert the entire planet. Kane. I have concentrated enough tiberium in this single warhead to convert the entire planet. Umagan. You'll never fire it. Kane. You should pray that I do. I doubt that you've much of a life for a freak like you in GDI's sanitized world. He turned to the Nod soldiers standing at attention behind him. Kane, prepare the patient for her final Tiberium enhancement. 2 soldiers stepped forward and began attaching tubes and monitors to Umagan's body. Kane, and let's send a little welcoming party for her friends. Location: GDI Kodiak, Bridge. The Kodiak shook as another volley of Nod artillery struck its hull. Alarms blared. Sparks showered from damaged consoles. Chandra, GDI officer, staring at the sensors. What is that? The display showed Nod forces converging from all directions, flame tanks, stealth generators, obelisks of light, and hundreds of infantry swarming toward the grounded command ship. McNeil, GDI commander, we better get hot, right now. The Kodiak was hit again. Harder this time. The lights flickered and died, replaced by emergency backups. McNeil, battle stations. Protect the Kodiak at all costs. Eva, artificial voice, crackling with interference. Be advised, Kane is determined to destroy you. The ion storm has grounded the Kodiak. We must protect it until the storm abates. Production will be limited. There is a high probability of equipment malfunction. Caution is advised. McNeil slammed his fist against the armrest of his command chair. McNeil, caution advised. Right, because caution is going to stop a Tiberium warhead. He looked out the viewport and saw them. Mobile suits. Not GDI models. Not the Crossbone Fleet's machines. Nod's mobile suits, twisted, Tiberium-infused abominations that moved with jerky, unnatural grace. They were led by a massive machine, easily twice the size of the others, its mono-eye glowing with malevolent green light. McNeil, what in the hell? Part 6, the Crossbone arrives. The Crossbone X-1 Kai slammed into the ground between the Kodiak and the advancing Nod forces. Dust and debris flew in all directions. Behind it, the rest of the Crossbone Fleet's mobile suits landed in a protective semicircle. Monkey D. Lupin, over external speakers, sorry we're late. Traffic was hell. McNeil, over comms, relieved Captain Lupin. About damn time. Monkey D. Lupin, we'll hold the line. Get your ship operational and get that warhead's coordinates. Kane's not walking away from this. The battle began. Crossbone X-1 Kai. Lupin's machine moved like a demon, its Zanbuster cutting down Nod mobile suits with single shots. The beam Zanber carved through flame tanks like butter. Crossbone X-0 Lelouch provided covering fire from the rear, his Geass-enhanced senses predicting enemy movements before they happened. Nod infantry fell in waves. Kanbu, Shiba Amu's male's Type AMAIM danced through the battlefield, its katana flashing, its thrusters burning bright. Nod machines exploded around it. Gustav, Tron Bon, fresh from the medical bay and stubborn as ever, crushed Nod vehicles with the Gustav's massive fists. The Servbots operated the secondary weapons, their tiny voices chanting battle cries. Billy Butcher, Astral Blaze, flames of gold and crimson erupted from his body as he fought on foot, cosmic fire melting Nod infantry and vehicles alike. He was laughing, a terrible, joyous sound. Frenchie, Cybervolt, lightning arced from his fingertips, jumping between Nod soldiers, frying their electronics, turning their weapons into dead weight. He moved through the battlefield like a living storm. Mother's milk, ink shadow, darkness spread from his feet, swallowing Nod positions whole. Ink constructs, soldiers, beasts, weapons, emerged from the shadows and tore through the enemy. And somewhere, in the chaos, a blue blur moved through the battlefield. Troll Scout. He wasn't fighting. He was trolling, tripping Nod soldiers as they ran past, switching their weapons for rubber chickens, drawing crude pictures on their helmets while they weren't looking. By the time the Nod forces realized what was happening, half of them were too busy being annoyed to fight effectively. Epic Scout, over comms, sighing, I told you. He's a pain in the ass. Monkey D. Lupin, watching a Nod flame tank explode after Troll Scout replaced its fuel with carbonated soda. I'm still mad about the bounty. But I can respect the craft. Part 7, Breaking Through. The Crossbone and GDI forces fought their way through wave after wave of Nod defenders. The ion storm raged above them, interfering with sensors and communications, but the soldiers on the ground didn't need fancy technology to know what they were fighting for. They were fighting for the world. McNeil, over comms, Lupin. We've got the warhead's location. It's in the main temple, 2 clicks northeast of your position. Monkey D. Lupin, copy that. Lelouch, you're with me. Everyone else, hold the perimeter. Don't let any Nod reinforcements through. Lelouch, understood. The 2 Gundams broke away from the main force, charging toward the Nod temple. Behind them, the battle raged on, but ahead, the real fight was waiting. Location: Nod Temple, interior. The temple was a maze of corridors and chambers, all of them glowing with the sickly green light of Tiberium. Nod fanatics threw themselves at the 2 Gundams, and 2 Gundams cut them down. Lupin and Lelouch moved in perfect synchronization, brothers in arms, bound by blood and choice and destiny. Lelouch overcomes Lupin. The warhead's power signature is enormous. If that thing detonates. Monkey D. Lupin, it won't. We're not going to let it. They burst into the main chamber. And there it was. The Tiberium warhead. Massive, pulsing, beautiful and terrible. And there was Kane. He stood before the warhead, his arms spread wide, his face turned upward as if in prayer. Behind him, strapped to a table, was Umagan, still alive, still fighting, but barely. Kane, without turning. Monkey D. Lupin, I was wondering when you would arrive. Monkey D. Lupin, over external speakers. Kane, it's over. Surrender the warhead and come quietly. Kane laughed. Kane, surrender. My dear Captain, I have been planning this moment for over 1,000 years. I have watched empires rise and fall. I have seen the world burn and rebuild itself from the ashes. I have waited. And now, he turned to face them. Now, the waiting is over. He raised his hand. The warhead began to hum. Kane, you cannot stop what has already begun. The Tiberium will spread. The world will transform. And a new race, a better race, will rise from the green. Lelouch, over external speakers, you're insane. Kane, insane. No, I am the only sane one left. The world government is a lie. Britannia is a cancer. Vought is a parasite. And you, Monkey D. Lupin, his eyes locked onto the Crossbone X1's cockpit. You are the last hope of a dying world. But even you cannot stop the inevitable. Monkey D. Lupin, watch me. He fired. The Zanbuster's beam struck the warhead, and stopped. A shield. A shimmering, green-tinted shield that absorbed the beam and redirected it into the ceiling. Kane, I have had centuries to prepare for this moment, Captain. Did you think I would leave something so important unprotected? He snapped his fingers. And the temple began to move. Scenario 8, Final Assault on Cairo. Location: GDI Command Ship Kodiak, Briefing Room. The holographic display showed the world, but it was a world already dying. Green tendrils of Tiberium spread across every continent, creeping toward population centers, toward water sources, toward everything that made Earth worth saving. Solomon stood at the head of the table, his face etched with lines of worry and exhaustion. Around him sat the commanders of GDI's remaining forces, and Monkey D. Lupin, his silver eyes fixed on the display. Solomon, Mac, Nod has mounted a full counterattack. We can hit them on the southern front, but... Brink, GDI officer, distress call coming in, sir. Source: outside Cairo. McNeil, boost it. The holographic display flickered, and a face appeared, pale, sweating, clearly wounded. Ghost Stalker, one of GDI's most elite operatives. Ghost Stalker, static-filled, I fear my mission has failed, at Kane's temple in Cairo. I found a missile, that will soon destroy the Earth. And Umagan. The transmission cut out. McNeil, slamming his fist on the table. Eva, greenlight all forces. Set coordinates for Cairo. Solomon, we need a larger attack force, more time to plan. If Kane's back is to the wall, he could unleash the Tiberium effect all over the world. His voice hardened. I will not authorize it. McNeil turned to face his superior. His eyes were cold, determined. McNeil, sorry, sir. He walked toward the door. I'm going in. Monkey D. Lupin, standing, he's not going alone. Solomon looked at Lupin, at this pirate captain with a bounty higher than most nations' military budgets, at the man who had become GDI's most unpredictable ally. Solomon, Captain Lupin, if Kane wins this. Monkey D. Lupin, he won't. Lupin's silver eyes glowed faintly. I don't care if he's been planning this for 1,000 years. I don't care if he's got alien technology and Tiberium warheads and an army of fanatics. He's not winning. Not today. Not ever. He followed McNeil out of the briefing room. Lelouch watching from the corner, he's going to need backup. Kuzan. Then we'd better get moving. The Crossbone fleet prepared for war. Location. Cairo, Nod Temple Complex. The Kodiak flew low over the Egyptian desert, its hull gleaming in the harsh afternoon sun. Behind it, the Crossbone fleet followed, 3 Zamouth Jiri-class ships, 3 Zamouth Jeth-class ships, and a swarm of mobile suits that darkened the sky. Below them, the Cairo pyramid rose from the sand, massive, ancient, and now corrupted by Nod's twisted technology. Tiberium growths covered its surface like green cancer. Energy weapons tracked the approaching fleet. And at the pyramid's heart, a missile prepared to launch. A missile that would end the world. McNeil overcoms all units, break formation. We need to clear the zone for MCV deployment. Monkey D. Lupin overcoms, you heard the commander. Crossbone fleet, launch all mobile suits. I want a perimeter around that pyramid within 5 minutes. The hangar bays opened, and the Crossbone pirates' true military power was revealed. Part 3, the mobile suit swarm. From the 3 Zamouth Jiri-class ships came the first wave. 10 XBMS-005G Ziphos, high-mobility assault units, their beam rifles already firing at Nod anti-air emplacements. 20 XBMS-005 SSG Ziphos, snake sword equipment type, close combat variants, their serpentine energy whips lashing out to wrap around Nod turrets and tear them from their foundations. From the 3 Zamouth Jeth-class ships came the second wave. 30 XBMS-003 Shaldal Rogue, general-purpose mobile suits, their balanced armament perfect for engaging Nod's mixed forces of infantry, vehicles, and converted nightmare frames. 50 XBMS-004GX's Jackage, heavy assault units, their massive beam cannons punching holes in Nod's defensive lines. And leading them all, the elite machines. XMX-1 Crossbone Gundam X-1 Kai, Lupin's personal unit. XMX-0 Crossbone Gundam X-0 Lelouch's command unit. YM-02 Kanbu, Shiba Amu's male's type Amaim. Gustav, Tron Bond's super robot, freshly repaired and bristling with weapons. The Kodiak's own complement, GDI's finest mobile suit pilots, veterans of the Tiberian Wars. The sky over Cairo became a battlefield. Nod commander overcoms, panicked, where did they get so many mobile suits? We weren't prepared for. His transmission ended as AG Ziphos's beam rifle found his command post. Lelouch overcoms Lupin, the ICBM launchers are scattered around the pyramid's perimeter. If we destroy those first, the main missile can't launch. Monkey D. Lupin. I see them. Marika, take the G-Ziphos squadrons and hit the northern launchers. Kincaid, the Shaldal rogues on the eastern flank. Tobia, take the GX's Jackage units and punch through the center. Everyone else, cover them. Marika Kato overcoms, understood. Kincaid now overcoms, moving now. Tobia Aronix overcoms, you heard the captain. Jackage squadron, follow me. The Crossbone mobile suit surged forward. Part 4, breaking the defenses. The battle was brutal. Nod had fortified Cairo for years, decades, perhaps. They knew every approach, every weakness, every angle of attack. Their defenses were layered, redundant, designed to bleed any assault force dry. But they had never faced the Crossbone pirates. Billy Butcher on foot, cosmic fire blazing, come on, you green-obsessed bastards. I've got a world to save and a headache that won't quit. He punched the ground. A wave of golden flame erupted from the impact, incinerating a squad of Nod infantry and melting the treads of 2 flame tanks. Frenchie riding a bolt of lightning across the battlefield, I am like a very angry eclair. Yes, very fast, very electrical, very delicious. A Nod soldier screamed as Frenchie zapped past him, leaving nothing but smoking boots. Mother's milk, ink shadows spreading in all directions, stay close to me. My shadows can hide you from their sensors. GDI infantry moved through the darkness he created, invisible to Nod's targeting systems, emerging behind enemy lines to plant explosives on artillery batteries. Epic Scout running at impossible speeds, yo, Troll Scout. Stop drawing mustaches on the Nod propaganda posters and actually help. Troll Scout adding a monocle to Kane's face on a massive billboard, I am helping. Morale is important. Their morale is going down, our morale is going up. Basic warfare, bro. Epic scout, I hate you. Troll scout, love you too, other me. Above them, the mobile suit battle raged. Marika Kato G Ziphos, slicing through a Nod obelisk of light northern launchers destroyed. Moving to support the center. Kincaid now, shawled all rogue, firing at Nod infantry with its head. Vulcan's eastern flank is clear. Watch your 6, Tobia, you've got incoming. Tobia Aeronix GX's Jackage, beam cannon blazing, I see them. Jackage squadron, focus fire on that command center. The pyramid's defenses crumbled. Location, Cairo Pyramid, inner chamber. McNeil ran through the pyramid's corridors, his sidearm drawn, his heart pounding. Behind him, Lupin and Lelouch followed, the three commanders pushing toward the heart of Nod's power. The chamber was massive, ancient Egyptian architecture mixed with Nod's sleek, brutalist technology. Tiberium growths pulsed on the walls, casting everything in an sickly green glow. And at the center of the chamber, standing before the Tacitus, an alien artifact of impossible power, was Kane. He held a knife to Umagan's throat. Kane, still giving orders, Commander. You really should learn to pay attention. His voice echoed through the chamber. I have your mutant, and I have your world. Umagan struggled against his grip, her eyes wild but defiant. Umagan, kill him. Forget about me. Don't let him win. An explosion shook the chamber, one of the ICBM launchers, destroyed by the crossbone mobile suits. McNeil, your missiles grounded. It's over. Kane laughed. It was not the laugh of a defeated man. Kane, you're only delaying the inevitable. I have the Tacitus. He gestured, and the artifact rose into view, a crystalline structure that hummed with power. I am invincible. Kane, the Tacitus told me of Tiberium missiles. Of invulnerable flying ships. Of real-time genetic mutation. His eyes blazed. More than alien. More than human. The next step of our evolution as a species. McNeil, you're not God, Kane. Kane smiled. Kane, no, I'm not God. He raised his arms. But I'm a close second. The chamber shook again. Umagan seized the opportunity. She twisted free from Kane's grip, shoving herself away from the knife. McNeil ran forward. 3 gunshots rang out. But Kane didn't fall. He walked toward the Tacitus, arms outstretched, blood dripping from wounds that should have killed him. Kane, I am the future. The Tiberian sun has risen. He stopped. He looked down at his hands, at the blood spreading across his palms. And behind him, Monkey D. Lupin charged. His arm transformed, nanites flowing, reshaping, becoming something else. A sphere of silver light, pulsing with the power of the Stardust God, the gift of Asteria given physical form. Monkey D. Lupin, not in my world. The sphere struck Kane in the chest. The Messiah of Nod, the man who had lived for 1,000 years, who had planned for 1,000 years, who had believed himself invincible, collapsed. Impalement was too kind a word. The nanite sphere passed through him like light through glass, leaving a wound that would not close, would not heal, would not stop bleeding. Kane fell. McNeil taking off both gloves, and that's an order. He grabbed the Tacitus before helping Umagan back to her feet. McNeil, let's get out of here. They retreated toward the Kodiak, leaving Kane bleeding on the floor of his temple. Location, Kodiak, Medical Bay. McNeil laid Umagan onto a bed. Her skin was pale, her breathing shallow. The Tiberium exposure had been too much, her body was shutting down. McNeil, will it work? Medic preparing a syringe filled with glowing green serum might. He paused. Might also kill her. Umagan, weakly, we have to test it. It could save my people. She looked at McNeil. If this is, if I. She didn't finish the sentence. Umagan, thanks, Mac. The medic injected the serum. Umagan convulsed. Her body arched off the bed, her mouth open in a silent scream. McNeil and the medic held her down, fighting to keep her from thrashing, from hurting herself, from dying. Then, slowly, she calmed. Her breathing steadied. Her color returned. The green veins of Tiberium poisoning faded from her skin. McNeil and Umagan looked at each other. And smiled. McNeil, I love to win. Umagan sat up, swinging her legs over the side of the bed. Umagan, not bad for a blunt. They walked off together, leaving the medical bay behind. Location, Kodiak, observation deck, high Earth orbit. The Kodiak floated in high orbit around the Earth, its hull still scarred from battle, its crew exhausted but alive. Below them, the sun rose over the horizon, painting the planet in shades of gold and orange. The Tiberian sun had risen. But the world was still there. Still fighting. Still worth saving. Lupin stood at the observation window, watching the sunrise. Lelouch joined him. Lelouch. Kane's not dead. Monkey D. Lupin. I know. Lelouch. You didn't kill him. Monkey D. Lupin. I couldn't. He looked at his hands, still faintly glowing with residual nanite energy. The nanites, they did something. They didn't just wound him. He paused. They cut him off from something. The Tacitus, maybe. Or whatever's been keeping him alive for 1,000 years. Lelouch. He's mortal now. Monkey D. Lupin. I think so. For the first time in a millennium. Kane can die. They stood in silence for a moment. Lelouch. What happens now? Monkey D. Lupin. Now. We keep fighting. Britannia's still out there. The world government's still corrupt. Vought's still creating monsters. And Nod. He shook his head. Nod won't just disappear because Kane's wounded. Someone else will take his place. Someone worse, probably. Lelouch. And your brothers. Luffy. Ace. Lupin smiled, a genuine smile, warm and sad. Monkey D. Lupin. They're out there somewhere, chasing their dreams. Luffy wants to be Pirate King. Ace wants to make Whitebeard the king of the seas. They don't know about the gods. Don't know about the Void Century. Don't know about any of this. Lelouch. Will you tell them? Monkey D. Lupin. When the time is right. When they're ready. He turned away from the window. But right now, they need to be free. Free to make their own choices. Free to become who they're going to become. He walked toward the door. Monkey D. Lupin. Come on, brother. We've got a crew to lead. A fleet to command. And a world to save. Lelouch. One battle at a time. Monkey D. Lupin. One battle at a time. They left the observation deck together, brothers in all but blood, walking toward whatever came next. And this is the end of this amazing epic crossover movie or arc. Hope you guys like it. Do not forget to leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel to see more amazing content.